Welcome to the puzzle stream. Let's play some puzzles. Beginning with Out of Reach puzzle, this is version 1 of something fairly new by BirdDog6 from about a week ago. Let's see how we do. Been a while since I've played a Bird Dog puzzle, I think. But we'll see if we do well on this one or if we get stuck for a bit. So we have a question block coming up and flying. I would assume that the question block is going to contain a vine because then it doesn't break onto reset, but we'll have to check that just in case. Also notice the presence of the yellow turn block that's above the goal and obstructing it. We'll have to deal with that somehow eventually. Not exactly clear how just yet, but let's just see what's going to spawn when we do hit the question block with something like an object throw. Not like that, obviously. Let's try it again. We do have to aim a little bit better, or I can spin jump on top of the shell, possibly, and I don't think that'll give me quite enough height, depending on where the block is going to dip here. But yeah, it is going to be a vine. I think if the vine is positioned directly under the red blocks, then that should actually spawn the vines down. I just want to check that behavior to see if the collision works the way I think it will. Like, you would pretty much need to stand right here. And yes, it does spawn down. Okay, and then you can break it afterwards, which is important to know, although we probably won't want to do that. We'll probably want to use the shell somehow to break this turn block over here by firing it off to the side, for instance. But in order to do that, it means we would likely have to jump up the trampoline onto this location, fire the shell, and then walk across safely. So, first priority is going to be to get rid of the on-off switch. It's good that we figured out divine interaction here right away. That's going to be a pretty significant gain. Also, we should figure out whether the spiny helmet is going to be within range. Also notice that I can wear one spiny helmet and grab another one. That we'll see if that's actually going to do anything for me here. Yeah, let's I didn't quite want to do that. I wanted to hit this at its lowest position and then spin jump up. I mean, we can also just check this. I think I should probably be able to make it. No, what we need to do is we want to hit the block and then kill it this way, because then the vine will open up in the block's stopped position, I think. If you spawn a vine, blowing at the block should reveal one additional tile for climbing. So I do want to hit the block first, and then I want to bust it down. And then that should give me enough height to deal with here. Now, we do need to watch the block carefully to see when it's going to be on the bottom of where it goes, and we would need to avoid, once again, hitting the shell like that. Then we are going to acknowledge the raid from Grikowski, who has just come from a puzzle and escape stream of his own. Let me just give you a quick shout out. And welcome to everybody who has come in. We are just getting started with some puzzles over here. So this one is by Bird Dog. It is version 1 of something that was made about a week ago. And welcome to Churi as well. And I did see that you had sent your raid over to Grikowski earlier. I was kind of lurking at the time because I do intend to do the funked escape room at some point myself. We need to not kill the spiny hat. I need to throw the spiny hat and just get out of the way. So this is just a bit of an execution check over here that we're going to do. And yeah, I'll stand to the right of the hat. And that way, I can just get out of the way. Spin jump, as expected, it reveals one additional slot. And then the issue that we're dealing with now is that I can't spawn divine in quite the same way by hitting it under the on-off blocks, but what I can do, I'll need to revert the state afterwards back to on, I think, after I have recovered the spring. So what we'll do is the same kind of interaction over here. And Electrodude's not going to pretend that you came in with Raid, that's fine. There's no need to pretend around here. But anyway, regardless, welcome to everybody who has come in so far. Gronkowski, I assume that you've played this one already. I'm a little behind on catching up on some of the usual puzzle crowd. And Chichiri, yeah, thank you for dropping by ever so briefly. Hope you had a wonderful playtesting stream over on your end today as well. Okay, let's see what we can do here. So now I have this, I do want to revert the off state. Notice, yeah, I should be able to... I'm doing just a bit of a height check here to make sure that we can eventually reach the goal in that position. The other thing I want to check is whether this is safe. Like, this kind of deflection? Yeah, it is. That's what I want to know. So, what we're going to do is we're going to... that was a mistake, actually, because I wanted to drop the spring on top of the spiny hat and have that extra block available to me. Let's try this again. You also got to play an early version that was completely different, I see. Welcome, Blue Blur. Oh yeah, we can just hit the block again. That's going to be fine, in fact. That makes things easy. I do want to check one thing, though, whether we could have... No, the spring doesn't collide that way. Okay. Good to know. Just checking this. I didn't think so. But it's good to know this kind of thing for sure. Yeah, okay, we can still fall down. That's good. So now we bust this, we pop this, and then we will do about the same thing in order to get the spring. We want the spring and the hat, and the spiny shell rather, on the other side, and we can do that. We can transport it left to right by busting down the vine block over here and doing some up throws to move the relevant objects back up to the top. So here's how we're going to do it. We're going to... no, we needed to hit that with the hat, actually. Let's try that again. Yeah, I forgot that that interaction probably wouldn't work. Let's do this. Nope, not quite right, although I do want to carry the spring, because otherwise we'll reset our progress. And Major, welcome. And yeah, Major, I played one of the versions of your latest puzzle on stream last week, and then I saw... Whoops, wrong item. And then I saw that you had revised it, so I actually did check it, the new version off stream, because at the time the first clear was available. I don't know if you've revised it since, but I don't know if you actually saw the video of my clear on your version 3, I believe, but I think you patched out the way that I was actually grabbing the POW block on that version, so I had to make a couple of adjustments. Okay, let's transport everything over to the other side. Let's bust this. Let's just drop all the items over. Yeah, because I'll be dropping the spring over here, and then I'll be carrying the shell over here, busting the shell, and then just walking to the left. And so that should be fairly straightforward, I think. I think I still have... You think I still have the world record? I see, okay. And there we go. Okay, one puzzle down, which is nice, because some weeks here I select something for my first puzzle that takes me about 2 or 3 hours. And usually there are reasons for that, whether they're an escape room or a composite of multiple puzzles or something. Anyway, there's a bird dog clear for you. Thank you for the GGs. And yeah, I do have a bit of a list to get through, a bit of a backlog, and so we'll punch in another code that I've been sitting on for quite some time. Let's see if I can pull this one up. Yeah, this one was recommended to me a long time ago, and it's just been sitting on my notepad. Thank you, Electrodude, for letting me know about the sound. Always good to know about any issues near the beginning of the stream when it's still easy to catch things. We'll just try to fix that up, hopefully without blowing up the whole stream, which has happened. And I'll be right back once we make sure we get that recalibrated. I'm pretty clear for you, okay. And that's fine, because if we end up with, well, what we're looking at here, which is a Super Mario World castle level, it's maybe not too bad a thing for the sound to cut out, because as some of you know, when I play puzzle levels with this specific theme, sometimes the music trips up Twitch's copyright detection and all of the audio gets muted on my VOD afterwards. So if audio fails here, no big deal. It might actually be for the best. That's okay. Electrodude has a very good sense of pitch, so I try to adapt accordingly just to make sure we don't have any problems. Major, you're saying this one might be stolen. It's very similar to a Maker 1 Shonhip puzzle. Okay. Well, maybe you'll recognize it, and we'll see. As you can see, lots and lots of plays on it, and obviously, back in Maker 1, you could do one screens, but you couldn't scroll stop it if you had some kind of separate ending, and it looks like it will be a separate ending here if you see that the axe is not actually on the main screen. So, let's take a look. Yoshi's Prison Break puzzle. Okay, I wasn't aware of Shonhip's puzzles back in Maker 1. I've actually been planning to do a Maker 1 stream at some point if I can actually find my disc. And so we might do that at some point and relearn some of the Maker 1 mechanics that I've totally forgotten. Okay, so I can see why it is a bit of a Yoshi Prison Break. Let's look at this and see what's going on. We have this key door mapped to the other one, and this P door mapped to the P door over there. We have a lot of different door connections, actually, and I'm just trying to figure out what the final one would be. It looks like a... Well, the wall to the right side is open, and right now I can't go far enough to really do any scrolling with it. Oh no, the axe is on the screen. The axe is right here. You can see it because of the chain right here, so it is all on one screen. The axe is mapped to the door that is beside Yoshi. And if you remember correctly, this one is really hard. Okay, we'll see. Yeah. We'll see how we do. And yeah, Electrodude, like I said, if it is wrongly pitched, you know, possibly maybe that will save me from the copyright detection and audio muting issue. Or maybe it will make things worse, who knows. So ultimately we want to, there's no clear condition on this thing, but as you can see, if you drop through this door here, you need to deal with the Spiny, and that implies that you can't die instantly when you come out of the door. You do probably need to take damage by riding Yoshi at a time, for instance. I would probably need to get the POW out of the way, though, because otherwise that will block. No, so you actually need Yoshi to swallow the POW. Yoshi swallows the POW, and then when you get in here... I didn't see if this POW spawned from the blaster at the beginning or if it was placed directly on the map. We might actually want to reset and check that at some point. Because as you can see, some of the POWs, you can tell from this offset here that it was not initially placed on this tile. It was something that was maybe pushed off a track or dropped some other way. It might have dropped off the track, actually. We can check that, in fact, by going through this door. And yeah, you can actually grab this POW instantly. So that's interesting. Okay, we need to just collect more intelligence about this level. Okay, that's going to be P. That also gives you a shell. Shell with a Koopa is still inside it. Let's see if that's going to do anything for me here. Let's... Ah, I see. So you probably do need the Koopa at some point. I can't quite tell if this is for my convenience or not in terms of... well, I mean, even if the Koopa rejoins the shell, if it's walking to the right, it would hit the trap. So likely what I would want to do is block it, in fact. P-switch is going to be mapped that way. POW block allows me to stand here. I think that if the Koopa is... no, it's not holding any kind of key. All right, so it's not going to be that. It could be the Boo that is holding a key, but I'm not entirely sure. And the Boo... What is the Boo doing for me here? Possibly it's holding the key, possibly it's just preventing me from jumping up in this location if this somehow breaks because of the bomb. So if the bomb breaks this block, this prevents the player from going up this way. Interestingly enough, because that spawns the P-switch, that means it's a one-time use, which means, if I'm looking at this correctly, I spawn through here. Yeah, so the P-switch becomes disabled. Alright, so that's going to be a losing condition, probably. Notice the bomb is able to hit this location here. That's going to be important. We might as well bust that down and see what the interactions are like on the other side. Yeah, so the POW placed on the left of the red blaster is initially in that position. Whoops, nope. Hang on, we need to figure out how to set down the POW in such a way that... Well, let's do this interaction again. Yeah, you grab the POW, and that would kill it? Okay, just checking. I thought so, but we'll just check a few things here. Nope, was trying to set the POW down gently on the left side. Yeah. Okay. So that's how we would do that once it's available. We'll reset everything with the P-switches accordingly afterwards. Yeah, notice the drop over here. I think this drop actually does prevent me from going down unless I do something like drop a POW block down below. Okay, that's the key. Didn't expect that. So yeah, you actually just need the blaster to fire for the key. I didn't quite see what that was, but we'll need to reset anyway, so let's just take that. Okay, so yeah, POW actually responds in this column here, which is why we grabbed it when we went through the door. It bounces off the bomb and bounces to the left. Now... yeah, so let's analyze this once more in terms of what we do with the Koopa. Because Koopa Shell is going to come up here. What you can do is block it if you want the Koopa to go to the left for some reason. Or, because the Koopa is in the shell, you can actually just place him anywhere you like. I see how the bomb setup with the key worked on the right side. It is, yeah, it was a Muncher that fired out of the blaster. Muncher fires out of the blaster, crushes the bombs in the one-way panels. That gives you the key with everything that blows up. Okay, that's good. So if we have an active P-switch at this point, then we can go through the key door. The issue with an active P-switch is that the yellow blocks on the top right open up. If the yellow blocks on the top right open up, then that means we need to drop some kind of object or drop a Koopa, for instance, that I can stand on. So we need to carry something through here. Yeah, so P-switch goes at the bottom. As soon as you put something on here, P-switch activates. You need to stand on something to get through the door. Likely it's just going to be the POW block. You need to carry something through the door in order to give you something to stand on in order to get to the other side while the P-switch is still active. Likely that's going to be the Koopa shell. Except the spikes on top, on the top right side, indicate to me that I probably can't do some kind of jump across. Actually, I don't know. Let's see if the yellow blocks on the turn blocks on the top right actually do release with a P-switch. I don't know that for a fact because I wasn't paying attention to whether those blocks are switchable, so we'll just test that quickly. And yes, they do become coins. So that's important to know because it means that we need the P-switch state to be off in order to get across the coins, but then we need the P-door to be active in order to go through it. So currently that's a bit of a logic problem that I haven't figured out yet. We could maybe... yeah, because the spikes on top, in the top right, do prevent you from just trying to jump over anything in the one-way pit or walking across unless you have some kind of double stack. Can you have some kind of double stack? I don't think you can, because I'm thinking, okay, what if you have Koopa shell and you just bounce a POW on top of it or something? And yeah, Blue Blur, no worries about having to go. Thank you for dropping by, however briefly. Okay, so this... so yeah, Bomb needs to give you the key. And that's fine. We can do the bomb first, in fact. I think it makes sense to do it that way, and then you can reclaim the POW after that is done, so... No, that's... Okay, that got it. We also need to remember that I do continue to have access to the bomb after that. And that this block stays destroyed, so if I drop a POW, for instance, and walk across, then possibly I can do something. I can possibly even get the 1-up, in fact, if I carry something like a Koopa shell down to the bottom right. Yeah, because if I take the Koopa shell down to the bottom right, I can actually hit the blocks that are underneath the mushroom. But I don't know if that's useful for anything whatsoever, because I didn't quite see which block holds the key. So let's just continue to learn about the shape of the puzzle, because right now we just don't know that much about it. Also, yeah, P-door is going to be my only way over to the Yoshi gate, and likely I will need something like a POW in order to drop the coins in order to destroy the gates. This is also something important, that if I wonder if the top right blocks would be spawn blocking anything. I don't think they would be. But anyway, the POW interaction with the P is what allows me to destroy the columns that are beside Yoshi, because the coin drop from the POW will take care of that. So what I can do... okay, no, I mean, yeah, as soon as I stand here, that's going to fire, so I don't really have a chance to go any further with that for the time being, so... We'll just do that drop. That's unlikely to get me anything on this round, obviously, but when we can then go through the door afterwards. And then if I go down here, I mean, yeah, the Muncher's Net's central position won't really be able to do anything there, so... Just going to continue to scout a little bit. One other thing is that possibly I can think about how the P-switch can... Is this going to be an instant activation if it hits the POW? No, it isn't. It's going to stack, as POWs usually stack with the P-switch, so that's fine. Yeah, that's actually fine, because it means that we have no P-switch activation. So the question is, do I have a way to raise the P-switch out of that position? And I'm thinking about that because I'm wondering if there's some way to bounce it, maybe. Because I think the idea is that you would need no P-switch active when you cross the bridge on the top right. And if no P-switch is active, you come into this position, and then you activate it somehow. Yeah, because otherwise, I don't think I can actually deal with the spikes on the top right. At least not by any way that I can see just yet. Yeah, Major, let me punch in the code in chat. Just give me one moment here. Sorry, I should have done that earlier when you asked it to look at the puzzle. I just neglected to do so. So yeah, that's the code. And let me see about this. Yeah, because you have POW on the top right. No, POW gets you over to the top right. Also allows you to hold the shell. P-switch, we only have the one shot at it before. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Yeah, the P-switch, you just have the one chance. What you do want to have happen, though, is I do want to activate the POW at least once at some point. I don't think it does anything irreversible, does it? Yeah, because you want to get rid of the gate on the left side. That is, in fact, something I can do twice. I think so. Yeah, because POW activations are essentially free. Because they're essentially free, you can just destroy the gate around Yoshi anytime you want. if I understand this correctly. I don't think the POW actually does anything irreversible elsewhere in the puzzle. And in fact, that lowers the P-switch that is above the Goomba. I think that's important because that's what gives Yoshi access to the other P-switch. Otherwise, the P-switch is too high for Yoshi to reach. Sound is being funky and it died completely. Okay. Yeah, we can try to fix it. I mean, that would likely just put me at risk of the audio muting issue, but let me just try to do that quickly, Electrodude, and we'll just see if the fix actually sticks this time. And in the meantime, I'll just continue thinking about that. I do think activating the POWs at the beginning in order to completely eliminate the issue with the coin gates in the top left is probably fine. I don't think that does anything that we don't want it to do. And yeah, eventually we would want Yoshi to place some kind of item that allows me to drop in through here. Let me check the POW spawning in the bottom right again. Yeah, no, Yoshi does need to eventually come here and capture this POW. And Yoshi needs to be holding that POW when going through the top left door. And that's fine, I think. So, current problem is... actually, no, there is a problem. We can't activate the POW to demolish the gates around Yoshi until we have figured out what to do with the top right, because we can't destroy the bridge on the top right while the P-switch is active until I have figured out how to cross it. I get a sense that it might be something like... well, I can't take two objects through, so I can't take the Koopa and the POW block through and, you know, do some kind of POW bounce across or something. But I would need something else to basically escort me out of there. Yeah, because, let me think about this. What if I had... I don't know about that, because like this P-door is still an issue here. Is there some way for me to have a delayed activation on the P-switch once I'm through the top right door? I don't see that there is, unless I specifically have some way to flush the P-switch out of here and take it out with me. So maybe that's the thing we should be looking for right now. Is there a way to raise the P-switch? Because I feel like that could solve a lot of issues if we figure that out. I wonder what that one mushroom here is all about. Dropping off the track like that. So yeah, the Boo is here and prevents basically any kind of interaction with a P-switch from below. I'm thinking about the placement of this bomb, though. The bomb, however, can blow up the block once the P-switch has been raised. I think that's partly the key here, is that you actually do want the bomb to blow up the P-switch block. But the P-switch has to be raised first before you do that, and so that would raise the question of what we do with the Koopa shell and the Koopa inside it. And also raises the question of what to do with the Boo, because the Boo prevents quite a lot from going on there. So, however, the Boo... I know that the stretch Boos that are tied to the ground actually do die to a soft drop and a POW. I don't think that's the case with... I'm actually not exactly sure about standard Boos, like whether or not in this column the Boo is killable in any way. Kind of have a sense it might not be. But what we want to do then is we'll just figure out this whole thing one direction at a time. Bust this down. Yeah, okay, so that... Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Shell under the P-switch. I feel like the shell is probably stopped by the P-switch. But if we place the shell underneath the P-switch, when the Koopa wakes up, I wonder if that displaces the P-switch upwards. Like, maybe it bounces the P-switch on top. And yeah, I see that the sound is still being extremely inconsistent, but that's okay, I think. Or no, maybe it is running. Okay. So yeah, let's do this again. We'll need to eventually fix up the order of operations. But I think the idea is that we go down here, we pop this, we carefully... No, I want to... I might just want to drop the POW in that location. 1 second while I start this over. I want to not hit the P-switch by any means, so one way I can do that is just by doing this. Nope, too late. Seems a little bit quick. And it would trap the shell. I wonder if I'm okay with trapping the shell, actually, because of that collision. Actually, I just need to jump over the P-switch and not hit it. That's really all there is to it. And actually, having the shell come out here works too. Now let's see if the wake up on the Koopa is going to bounce to P. That's the thing I'm counting on. Wake up. And it doesn't. Okay. But what if we pushed it further with the POW? Well, you would need access to the POW first, so... Up throw on the POW, I think, is probably just going to kill immediately. But we need to try it to find out, because... up throw on the POW is probably just going to hit the wall immediately, in fact, but we'll see about this. Okay. Yeah, because I feel like the up throw on the POW just isn't going to work. It's like a pixel precise thing, right? So the wake up doesn't work. We'll have to think about this, because raising the P somehow is the key here. And that's basically the step that I don't know, is... because I think the entire top right is designed around the expectation that I carry a P-switch with me. And... interestingly enough, once the block is destroyed and once I no longer have access to P, the Koopa is going to spawn that middle location anyway. Now I wonder what happens if I have them stacked all in one location like that then. Let's try it. Well, let's try it from the start. Whoops, no. Carry the POW. That's not how to do it at all. Because that just destroyed the block. Yeah, I need to, in general, just get a much better bounce off this bomb here. Whoops, not like that. Too late, too late. Nope, didn't want to pick that up. Yeah, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to stop the POW here, and I want to see what happens when I hit the block from below that way. In fact, we can try that just to confirm the interaction without hitting the bomb. But it's clear, I think, that I do need to blow it up somehow. and that I need to do something to raise the Koopa from below. And that blowing this up before I have the P-switch is not going to be useful at all. So let's just try this quickly. Yeah, notice that little displacement here. I'm going to let the Koopa wake up just to see what happens here. I think it's going to probably... Oh, okay. That's an interesting collision. Not really going to help me there, though. Yeah, because with only one object available to me through the top right door, I'm pretty sure that raising the P is going to be the thing that we need to solve here. Not going to be anything like that. Yeah, because once we go through the door, we can't just leave the P in place. We have to carry the P, otherwise there's no P activation for me on the other side. As far as I can tell. So let's try to solve that problem somehow. I think maybe there's something we can do with the bomb interaction here. Like if the P-switch is already raised... Yeah, because P-switch gets stacked, Koopa is available to me. Then is there a way that I can raise the P-switch from below? Because some interaction from below is what I'm looking at right now. Maybe it is just a pixel-precise throw that's going to be through that gap with the POW. I feel like that's super, super precise and probably not in the nature of a puzzle level to do that to be, but I'm just going to try it quickly first, just to see what we can do to throw. Because I have my doubts about being able to do it. No. No, it is going to contact pretty much immediately. Shell throw is not going to raise the P for me either. However, shell throw, yeah, no, and then the POW throw doesn't do anything for me after that. I'm trying to think about some kind of object stack that would allow me to push the P. And I'm currently not seeing it. Because if I'm using a bomb to blow up the block, I do need to P on the same cycle as that. If I am doing that with the bomb, then... One thing I haven't considered is whether or not we can do anything on the right side without activating the blaster. Because maybe there is something in those question blocks on the right side that would actually be valuable to me. But I think the 1-up is maybe there just to encourage you to try that without actually giving you something to work with. Yeah, because then you would... One thing I haven't considered as well is unlocking this with the key and spawning back through this door. That's one thing I have not thought about doing, and which is probably not going to be useful because I need to stand on a POW to do that. I would come back, the POW would respawn over here. I don't think that actually gets me anything. However, one thing that could happen is... if I... Yeah, so you see the sort of logic here is that question block is on the bottom. Question block spawns a P-switch. P-switch gets displaced by the Koopa, or rather the P-switch goes up 2 blocks regardless. Koopa bounces above that. So I'm thinking, what if I take out the Koopa first? Like if I move the Koopa, take the shell with me. Except I don't have a way to take the Koopa unless I activate the P-switch on the same cycle, so that's unlikely to be it either. I'm going to try something else then. Let's restart. I actually am going to see if doing a short bounce off the Koopa over the coin segments is going to do anything for me. Because that's going to allow me to do a few things. Let's just, first of all, blow up the coins on the top left. Let's take this and... Oh, you know what? Let's blow up everything we can first, just to prepare this attempt properly. Other thing I'm considering is whether, instead of having the bomb down here, you place it down here. I don't think that will do anything for me, though. Because it's the destruction of the block that pushes everything up. I think the detonation down here doesn't do anything too differently. But I may be wrong. So let's... Okay, so we've taken care of the bomb. We'll take care of the key. Let's just do that. Okay. And then let's set up such that I can take the Koopa through the key door. Except I don't think I'll be able to beat the P-switch expiry for that. Because by the time the Koopa wakes up, the P-switch is probably going to reactivate, so... I'd better think about that later. Whoops, nope, didn't mean to do that. That's okay, we didn't bust down the block yet. That means we're still probably fine, except this is going to blow up. Oh, no, that's fine. Nope, I wanted to grab the shell and get in here. So the idea I had was drop the shell and then just bounce over to Koopa on the other side, but I think that's going to hit the spikes. I don't think that's going to get me under. But I don't know that for a fact. I would need the Koopa to wake up, though, and I don't think that's going to do it. Shield Sir, welcome. I see my sound is also cut out again, which might be alright. Shield Sir, I do have Broke Track Mountain lined up after this. If I manage to solve this in a reasonable amount of time, we'll see. This might be something that takes me more than one session. Depending. So hopefully you can stay for that, and we'll queue that up afterwards. Okay, so what I want to do, let's try to get reoriented here again. Still unsure about the POW block on the top right. And yeah, I know the sound is currently dead, but we'll restore that like maybe at the end of this attempt here. It has been a bit of a repeated problem today, unfortunately. Just one of those streams. Okay, so what was I going to do? I was going to check this. Yeah, still figuring out how this P displacement works, because I'm still thinking in terms of, you know, can I find some way to get the P switch out of there somehow? Now, if I come here with the Koopa shell, let me just test the door reset quickly. Yeah, it removes the Koopa. This is a fun interaction. Here, look at this little bounce and a POW. Except I think any kind of interaction like that with the POW is just going to run into trouble in terms of getting it out of there. However, we can up throw the Koopa shell. No, we can't because of the door. Nope. Hang on just a second. Let's see if we can do it. Nope, not quite. I was trying to fish both the Koopa shell and a POW out of that reset, but apparently not. Okay, let me just get sound going again quickly. Yeah, I didn't have time to really get my audio tested properly before the stream today, and so lately we've been able to mitigate this, but today things just didn't get set up right. Okay. Through here. Grab the POW. Bomb takes care of this. Bomb gives you key. POW in general drops the coins, and I think that's desirable. We want to do that. No, this attempt is already blown because of the fact that the question block has been activated. Shield Sir, that's what Major was telling me earlier before. This one's not credited to Sean Hip, but apparently it was a Sean Hip level back in Maker 1. That's what I'm told. This code has been sitting around with me forever, so everything here looks like it could just be ported straight from Maker 1, so I think you're actually correct about that. As far as I know, but I haven't played the original, so I can't say that for a fact. But you're the second person to tell me that, so I think you're probably right. Yeah, because right now... Okay, so let's get rid of this. Drop the coins. Yeah, right now it's the bridge on the top right that is the issue, and I'm not seeing what to do with it. It might be dropping one Koopa, bouncing across, but I really doubt that. I might as well try to execute the thing I was talking about earlier, though, and just see if it can be done. No, hang on. Probably don't want to do that. And then... Okay. Oh, I forgot to grab the key here. Otherwise, we could have actually gone through and done the thing I wanted, apart from the activation of that P-switch, of course. The idea is that I'm trying to get the red Koopa shell up to the top right. I feel like the idea is that I'm supposed to escort the P-switch all the way to this position, but if I can't do that, the next thing I'm thinking of is just have red Koopa in that position. And yeah, I know Sean Hip hasn't been as active in Maker 2. I saw his name around very early on in the game before I was really playing puzzles at all. At some point, I do mean to go back to some of his old puzzles if I do a Maker 1 stream, as I've been planning to do for some time, but it's probably still going to be a few weeks off. And I'll just have to relearn all of the old mechanics again. Let's see. Yeah, so here I want to... Let's take care of the key first before anything else, because I don't think that affects anything else that I'm doing. So let's go here. Like I've been saying all along, we haven't actually checked what's going on with the blocks on the right side yet, so we could theoretically do so by blocking that spot with a POW. But as you can see, nothing in there is going to contain a vine or anything for a block reset. He hasn't made anything this year, that's unfortunate. Yeah. Standing in this position, you can actually block that and go across if you wanted. But then there's no point in doing so if you can't do anything to hit... Well, I mean, that's how you would get the 1-up, is you would get the shell across the POW here. And yeah, I see that audio is just refusing to cooperate with me completely today, so we'll probably just have to deal with that. At least on this level. Like I said, it's probably fine in this theme, just given that audio causes more problems than it solves. Yeah, so still thinking about doing it this way. Nope. Didn't mean to pick up the POW. That was a bit of a mistake there. That seems a little too execution dependent, though. I wonder if that's actually going to be the case. Because the timing is just a little bit weird for doing that. Particularly if you missed donut block like I just did. Yeah, as you can see, block blew up before the POW, or rather before the P-switch was able to spawn, so that was not great. I mean, yeah, I think the boo is just going to be a hard block there as well. So nothing I can do with that. Let's start over and just try this again. Because this is the only thing I can think of right now, is just finding some way to escort the red Koopa over to the top. Let's remember to get the key first, otherwise no point in doing this. Let's actually try to drop the POW on the right side just to see if we can do anything useful. Whoops. Nope, never mind. And, okay, so it's not really going to be anything over here, obviously. Unless you block the Muncher, and even if you do block the Muncher, you wouldn't want to get caught in the bottom right. Actually, if you do block the Muncher, then those blocks don't get destroyed in the first place, and so, yeah, I don't think the bottom right's going to give us anything useful, by the looks of it. So let's drop this. Okay, that's going to blow up. We will then grab the key. We will then do this. Nope, too late. Yeah, because taking the POW up here adds too much time. It adds just barely too much time. You would need to drop the POW regardless in order to fish the POW out to have some surface to stand on in that attempt. I mean, I have done it this way before. It's just so execution dependent. I really have my doubts about it. One thing I was going to check is respawning through this door, whether there's anything useful that would happen here. And yeah, you do need the P-switch active at this point. Okay, through here. And yeah, I mean, this attempt is already blown because we lost the ability to get the P. I wonder if there's something we can do with an active P-switch that would then interact somehow with the way this top P falls onto Goomba. Like, if we can find some way to displace the Goomba such that we have some interaction with the P-switch, like, once that central block has been destroyed, I wonder if maybe that's one way to do it. Like, if we can activate that P remotely, somehow. So the way it would look is like this. Let's try to show this off. Let's do POW first, just to get rid of the coins. Then, yeah, this will be dependent on having the P-switch active. So let's just drop this. We will take the P-switch. This solution does not use the shell, though, so I'm a little suspicious of it. Okay. Drop everything. This is obviously not going to be it. Oh, we forgot to get the key. But what I was trying to show off is that if you have a P-switch activation followed by this Goomba here, I mean, we need to not drop the POW for that because we can't destroy the bridge, but the only way to destroy this block in a central column in the top middle is to also destroy the bridge at the same time, because both of those are going to be part of the same coin drop when you activate a P-switch. So no, I don't think we'll be able to access this P-switch up here and leave the bridge alive. So let's just think about this again. Okay, so can probably drop POW block on top. Well, I mean, let's once again get the key before I forget. Yeah, currently the best candidate actually does look like taking the red Koopa up to the top right and just bouncing on top of it with the P-switch active. But the execution is so tricky on that I don't know if I can really do it that way. And I also don't know if the bounce is going to give me the height that is what I need. I feel like maybe it can, but we'll have to figure that out. Yeah, so let's see if I can do a soft drop on a POW somehow. No, hang on. You'd think you remember what to do now is quite obscure. Interesting. Yeah, because right now I'm thinking of like doing a bounce off the Koopa on the top right, but I feel like the height is not going to be correct for that. And that the P timing is also not going to be correct. Hang on, let's try this again. Nope, too late. Once again. And I don't have the key, but I can get the key if I want at any time. I feel like it might have something to do with the shell the way it is. Okay, let's see here. Something quite obscure, interesting. Yeah, I mean, if it's a case of not knowing the relevant mechanic, then I may set this one aside for now and go back to it at some point. But at least I know what the stopping point here is. Also, I see the sound is trying to recover, but it'll just do that on its own, I guess. POW is going to... Let me think about that. This level is actually a bit different from Jean Heb's version. Okay, interesting. Alright, not knowing the original, I wouldn't know what to make of that, and Jean Heb's version is apparently better? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the case with a lot of imitation levels, that sometimes they're missing something critical. Because if we place this... Yeah, if we... This is here. I'm just trying to figure out what to do with this whole bounce over here. I mean, it's really just going to be one of two things. Either we find some kind of, object that allows me to... Or some kind of object interaction that allows me to safely traverse the top right, or I need to flesh out the P with some kind of collision interaction. If it's something that's sort of execution dependent, one thing that I could see this being is, for example, having a second bomb, having another bomb raise all this. Like if you, for example, have a bomb ready, you hit this, and then maybe you need to and do something else in order to, raise the P with some kind of interaction that's triggered by an explosion, for instance. Like you're doing something wrong, but there's nothing telling you that you're doing it wrong. Okay, I see. I'm doing something wrong, but there's nothing telling me that I'm doing it wrong. Interesting. Yeah, okay. You mean that like maybe there's nothing that's deterring me from something. That's a bit of a misplay here. He spawns up here. Yeah, so there's nothing particularly discouraging me from taking this current route. P-switch up here. I am also thinking about how, I mean, obviously this is existing here as a Koopa trap, but I am thinking about like whether we would want the red Koopa to wake up at some different location. And if it does, then what does that do for me? Also thinking about whether there is a way to get the bomb out of there in its unactivated state. Let me see how it spawns in. Yeah, the bomb is just directly placed in that location, so not likely to be anything there. It might be that I just need to stand on something else entirely to get through here. And I can't see what use that would be, though. Like, if you had, for example, the P-switch displaced all the way to this location, you could, P-jump over it, get in the door, carry the POW, then P-switch state would be active in the top right, the coins would be there. There's a step you think is standard and you do it without question, but it actually stops you from winning. Yeah, it might be something to do with the POW pickup. And then it bounces over. Let's try to restart this. Yeah, because the POW pickup... I mean, maybe it's also that the breaking of the bomb location on the right side isn't quite right. Because one thing I'm looking at is whether initially firing a POW to drop these coins affects anything else in the level, and I didn't think it did. I can't see anything that is going to be permanent damage here. If you drop that. Like, I can't see what that affects. Also, let me just try to get through here without picking up the POW. No matter what, though, because of the way the bomb is acting, that does prevent the POW from doing much. Okay. Using the bomb to blow up this location here might be a problem, in fact. And this one-time activation of the P-switch is something that's throwing me off, for sure. Yeah. I'm just looking at the coins all over the place and seeing what the transformations are here. Yeah, it looks like every yellow turn block does transform into a coin. None of them store any item. Let's just rethink this. Yeah, it's possible that I may just have to set this one aside if I just don't know the interaction involved, but I'm just wondering if I would have seen something like that before. Like, I feel like it's got to have something to do with this collision logic between the block activation to Koopa Shell and the P all coming up together. And that maybe there's something going on here that creates a problem with actually raising the P. Like, if I mean, the Koopa Shell is going to be here regardless. I don't have a way to get the Koopa out of there. However, it is within a 2-tile range if I have a bomb here. Let's try that, actually. No. No, because that's going to be out of range. All right. Yeah, I'm just looking at the state of everything as it comes out. Like, whether... Like, Yoshi hatching doesn't really interact with anything. Goomba here... I have no idea what the Goomba here is for. It looks like it's going to be something much later. I feel like it would be nice if I could somehow do some kind of displacement that remotely gets the Goomba to step on top of the P-switch. But by that point, it won't actually help because of everything with the bridge on the top right. Carrying the POW, grabbing the key. Yeah, maybe I should actually see if I can block the Muncher firing. Actually, no. One thing I want to do. Did we actually see which key? Or rather, which tile holds the key? It is the bottom right block, isn't it? But I just want to verify that. We just need to look at the bottom right very closely to see if we can actually see which tile gives me the key spawn. Yeah, it is the bottom right block, as I thought. I wonder if there is a way to activate that somehow without activating the Muncher. In case there's anything in the bottom right that I actually would need. Which I kind of doubt is the case, but let's hit this. No, that doesn't give me anything. Doesn't do anything for me either. Yeah, we'll have to think about that. Because it's really the bridge that's kind of the problem to solve right now. And I don't really see it. Like, there's just this very strong implication that I'm supposed to flush out the P-switch somehow. Okay. And yeah, like as I was saying earlier, can't really do a POW throw through here. I don't think that would do anything for me anyway. Taking a key through the door. Well, we'll see. I really see no reason not to do the first step POW firing, though, to drop this column over here. Like, I feel like that's always going to be the first step, but the thing is, it's not really relevant right now to anything else I'm doing. Bust that open. That stays open. That doesn't seem to affect anything else either. Okay, let's see if we can block off the Muncher. If I block off the Muncher, am I able to... no, I mean, unless I find a way to get the bomb out, I don't think I can carry it all the way over here. I feel like the donut blocks prevent, in general, a lot of shenanigans from going on with anything in this location. Obviously, with this kind of positioning here, I am able to grab the Koopa shell and fire it. We know, however, that this contains nothing. We don't know that's true of this block over here. Thank you for the follow. So I feel like we should try that, just in case that actually does contain anything. It won't contain a key, unfortunately. Oh, Shell's gonna wake up. That's a problem, actually. Because now that blocks me off completely. I was hoping to come down here and... You know, we could have done that patiently, and that would work. Because I wanted to hit this question block. It's clear to me that we can, in fact, hit that question block. But we would need to unblock the block on top of it in order to get it to spawn anything. Because if that question block actually spawns a second P-switch, that's one scenario that would work. So let's think about this, because that's one scenario that we haven't considered yet that is actually possible. If the question block on the bottom right contains a P-switch, we have a P-switch that is active at the time, it unblocks the 1-up, and then we take something over. And we don't need to take a bomb over or anything. We just need to block this. Also, using this method, I may as well let the Koopa wake up because it's going to be safer. Let's just see if I can do anything with it here. And then we do this. One up. Okay, never mind. That's not it. And that's not it. I was really hoping it would be it, because this would have solved a lot of problems if it just gave me a second P-switch. No, it wouldn't, in fact, because I don't have a way to get in the key door, although... Oh, well, okay. That's a 1-up. We don't know about this one over here. But at this point, this is clearly a dead attempt, so... Nothing more to do here. I wonder, however... So notice how there are 2 bombs over here. The first bomb is going to... Okay, well, the Muncher is going to crush both bombs. Crushing both bombs eliminates everything here. However, if you fire 1 POW, and you move over here and you have the Muncher only crush 1 bomb remaining in a stack, this block should remain open. We don't know what's in this question block yet, and I'm thinking that there is, in fact, a way to access it. So let's see if we can do that. I think it's possible. Except the issue is that we would not have a POW to stand on over here. That's the problem. Because that way, if we have 1 bomb get crushed there... You know what? No, we can do it. We can do it. let's start over. The main problem is not having a second POW to stand on in that location, but I think that's okay because we then just repeat everything on this attempt. We don't need the POW to block anything. What we want is... well, I mean, I do need a POW activation at some point, but I need to do so... no, whoops. Hang on. We didn't really need to start that one over, but what I want to do is I want to activate the POW while this bomb is still available to me. Although I don't really need to do that because... No, I don't really need to do that. We just do it this way. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fire one POW here. And then we're going to try to Muncher Crush. Oh, except it kills the shell. So the idea is that I want something to stand on now. On the next respawn like this. And that would then allow me to hit that other question block. And maybe that contains something like a P-switch. Or maybe it just contains another one-up. We'll see. Yeah, because now it doesn't matter if the Muncher fires because there's no bomb crush. So this can fire if it wants. I said this can fire if it wants. It doesn't make a difference. So supposing I do this. Then suppose I run like this. Oh, nope, forgot about the wake up once again. Okay, no, we're going to check that question block because that's the one thing on the board that I don't know about yet is does that question block contain anything useful? And we know how to access it now, so let's try it this way. Okay. So we strike once. We do this. Come back here. And the bombs just walk off. Then we drop this. Punch this. Let the shell do its thing to clear out. Activate the P-switch. Aha. Aha. Problem is now we have no P-switch. However, if I just didn't activate the P-switch and hit this block with my head first, then we still have a P-switch available here. And then that's when I upthrow this into the P-switch. P-switch comes up, that becomes accessible. Okay, we made progress. We made progress. Okay, I know how to do this. Well, these steps that we have so far anyway. So here's how we're going to do it. We are going to bust this open. Yeah, it took me a while to see this, but once I thought about the bombs on the bottom right carefully and inspected everything, this became clearer. Okay, so at this point we fire one. We then destroy. So the idea is that I need to not activate a P-switch, but take a shell over. We have a way to do that. However, we do need to blow up the block as well in order to have some way to access the P-switch from below once I grab the spring. So this sort of weird timed thing here still matters. Yeah, once again, the timing for that is just ridiculous. But That's unfortunate. The timing for that, unfortunately, is just terrible. But we'll see what I can do about it. And unfortunately, that does feel extremely execution dependent, unless there's some easier way to make sure I can get that done. I can't really come out and prepare this donut block in advance, unfortunately. So that's not going to be it. I feel like I do just have to do it the fast way and make sure everything gets done. Well, let's see, because yeah, I only have one real shot at this, unfortunately. If I can somehow just get off this bomb immediately. Come here, tap. There we go. Okay, good, good, good. Now we let the Koopa do its thing, and then we're very careful not to hit the P. Let's get some of this stuff out of the way just to make sure we don't accidentally tap anything. Okay. I think I still have a problem, which is that I don't really have anything to stand on. Oh no, that's fine. No. I take the P switch and then I reset through a door with it, and then I have P and POW. Okay, no, I'm fine. Because I'm thinking, like, right now I don't have an object to stand on to get through the door because I can't activate the P switch yet at that point. But I'm actually okay. We come over here. Pop the P switch out. Reset through here. Nope, hang on. And, well, that's a problem. Yeah, no, I wanted to upthrow the P switch without going through the door. I mean, the logic behind all this is correct so far. We have the order down. The issue is just pure execution right now. Given that the issue is just execution, we should be able to do this, you know, just after fussing around with this a bit and getting both the P and the POW available. Yeah. Right idea for sure. Okay, on this move, we... Nope. Just wanted to bounce on top of the bomb cleanly so I can get down here before everything explodes. Good. Get rid of the shell. Yep, just tuck this out of the way. Not run into this guy from the side. Let's actually get rid of him. That's going to cause too many complications if I leave him alive. Okay, down we go. Grab the P switch. Now, I don't think there's anything else that's hidden information here, as far as I know. So this whole sequence just looks correct as long as we can, in fact... Nope. Hang on. Yeah, I just need to upthrow the P switch on the left side, and unfortunately that's just... a bit of an issue here. Just want to raise the P-switch, and it's just a purely mechanical thing that I haven't quite gotten down yet. I mean, I definitely do need to do that. I do need two things to stand on. Like POW and P. And there's no other way that I'm going to get the P unless I take it through the door on that occasion, so I think that has to be the right sequence. And that it's 100% an execution problem at the moment. Okay, so Muncher goes right. And then, as fast as we can, just need an immediate bounce. Get rid of the Koopa. Nope. Yeah, a little bit claustrophobic, but, you know, that's what happens with one-screen puzzles sometimes. Okay. So we'll just die to execution stuff for a couple of attempts until we manage to get the P-switch out of there. And then after that, it should be much cleaner. Maybe. Okay. Yeah, fire this. That pops. We come back in. We then do this whole nonsense. Let the Koopa go. Avoid hitting the P-switch. Okay, let's get rid of him. Just don't want to run headfirst into the guy, as I am sometimes very likely to do. Okay, down we go. Hit this, grab this. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I need to not run into issues here. I think I just run off to the side like this, then I up throw. Except I'm still going to be through the door, which is an issue. Okay, there we go. Annoying to do that, but we got it done. That's the important thing. Yeah, you pretty much need to hold up going into that door, throw to P immediately, and also jump with a dash or grab button held a second time. Just in one very smooth interaction. Okay, progress. So let's scout this out. We hit the P switch. We go through the P door. We then collect the coins that are next to Yoshi in order to let Yoshi out. Also, Yoshi is able to grab the P switch at that point. If we do it quickly, we get through to one-way panels and consume those coins as well to create a clear passage on the left side. Question is, what is the Goomba doing? And what could we possibly need the Goomba for? Yeah, because currently we need Yoshi to get down to the POW that's to the left of the Red Blaster, as I scouted much, much earlier. And Yoshi needs to claim that POW. However, when Yoshi... But then I need Yoshi to get back upstairs somehow, don't I? And right now, the only way to get back upstairs is to go through the P door, cycle again. That's okay, because we can cycle through the Ps as much as we want, as long as we're always holding a P. Also, the thing about Yoshi is that I am able to, I think, survive the one-way panel thing. Like if I have Yoshi, I'm 2 tiles high, I have my head above the one-way panel, and I should be able to run across that. And also jump through that, and it would take damage. Yoshi would boost, but then I would actually be able to get it through here with the P-switch active. Also, this might be cheesable. Interesting. Yeah, because I'm thinking about... Like, you'd want, on the left side, Yoshi to stand on a P while holding the POW in his mouth. And then you get through the door to the X. Because the idea is that you need to go through that door on the top left while riding Yoshi with a POW in your mouth, because that unblocks the door as well as manages to survive damage from the Spiny. I think that's got to be it. Okay. Also, I totally should have taken out that block, except I didn't really have a good way to do that. Yeah, so I think Yoshi actually has to do a P-jump here. Land on a door. No, but we actually do want to hit the P-switch, right? So that's okay, because Yoshi can soft drop either POW. We have access to both POWs. The fact that we have access to both POWs is really important because it means I can cycle through, as I said, as much as I want. The issue is I need access to... Oh, you know what? Yeah, no, I really should have gotten rid of that top coin. Because if I hit the P-switch, I'm able to reclaim the P-switch here. Actually, no. If I hit the P-switch, I can just let everything drop, and I just reclaim the P again. Well, you know what? Let's just try this whole series of interactions. Yoshi definitely needs to have the bottom POW in the mouth. That's fine, because what we can do is we can step on the P on the left, and then we go through the door, and then we let the P expire because we can grab the other P on the other side. So we do this. We have to go through like this because we need the P on the other side to drop. And then Yoshi has access to the P once Yoshi swallows the Goomba. Also, yeah, Yoshi's going to take damage here. That's fine. We just reclaim Yoshi on the other side. You're driving to work so you can't type for a bit, and welcome, Red Knight. And yeah, Shield Sir, no worries about that. We're still going to play yours next. So if you need to catch up on anything in the VOD afterwards, that's fine. And we'll hopefully have sound behave a little more consistently at that point. Okay, POW is here. Oh, no, I didn't have the P here because the P... Okay, so I don't have access to the P. Or, oh, no. The problem was the P-switch expired and died to the block. Okay. I did this too slowly. That's fine. Yeah, no, I got across the bridge too slowly as Yoshi, because the P, it does respawn, it dropped, and then it died to the coin block. I mean, one thing I could always do is just reactivate the P-switch and just blow up everything, except no, I don't want to blow up the bridge. I do want Yoshi to cross the bridge. This implies, in fact, that I should try one thing. Let's... Yeah, no, I couldn't do it faster because the bridge would still be a coin. Yeah, I see what you mean. I'm also thinking, like, if I'm able to just ride across the top right as Yoshi, even with the bridge destroyed, if I jump up, then does Yoshi ever run to the left side? I don't think he would. But if he does, that would be one way to survive that. Maybe. I'm not going to try it that way, though. Unless I'm really desperate for something. Yeah, no, I was just not... Spyro, you're the third person to tell me this is a Sean Hip puzzle from Mario Maker 1, so I totally buy that that is actually the case. You are the third person to tell me that. I've had this code recommended to me for a while, so I didn't actually know that myself, but that's what everybody keeps telling me, so I just assumed you all know your Sean Hip and know it very well. What was I doing? Oh, yes. Get this. Oh, whoops, no. Let's restart. I am progressing through it, though. We're really just maybe 1 or 2 steps away. Okay. You remember watching Carl play this one? Okay. Back when Carl still played puzzles, I guess. Actually, I don't know if he still plays puzzles. I just know he mostly does trolls these days, since that's the Carl brand. Let's go back to this and do this really fussy bit here. Fussy time-dependent interaction, which is going to go fine. Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff that could potentially trip you up mechanically. And sorry about that, Major. Let me permit you. Major, if you want to try to punch the link in again. Yeah, let me just get you in there. Yeah, I have a really aggressive filter here for links, and I should warn people about that. And thanks for that, Major. We'll be sure to take a look at it afterwards. Whoops, hang on. Yep, thanks for that, Major. Yeah, and I'll watch that after I stream, probably. Once I clear this. Okay. That's open. Next thing is you open this gate. And then we'll do the slightly annoying part. We will not die to the Koopa or to anything else of that sort. And we will not lose the shell. Okay. Over here. Safely out of the way. Safely out of the way. Yeah, this little lip here that's disguised by the one-way panel is... Well, I mean, it's visible, but it's also still something that throws me off. Okay. Up we go. And then... we'll do this whole bit here. Take this. Do that. At least that's becoming consistent, even though it's a little annoying to execute. We'll come over here. And then that's going to... yeah, we hit the P-switch, we go through, we grab Yoshi, we grab everything. Up to and including the P-switch. We drop back down. And yeah, we can cycle through to do the whole POW thing as much as I want, just to get rid of that coin maybe and do it that way. Maybe I did need to drop this coin in advance, except I don't want to drop the bridge, and that's the main issue with it. No, yeah, I need to time this out, I think, and see how this is going to go. Yeah, actually I should have gone for the coin somehow. That's okay, that's okay. Let's do this. I feel like I probably can't outrun the P-switch. Yeah, because you need to wait for the bridge first. What am I currently holding? I'm holding a POW. If I activate this P-switch, I will not be able to cycle through. So yeah, no, we need to get rid of that coin for sure. Why don't I just get rid of it with Yoshi, actually? I mean, I should be able to just tap the coin with Yoshi. Okay. Yeah, I was wondering if that was something I could avoid, but no, I just need to swallow the coin with Yoshi rather than swallowing the P. And that should do it. Unless I'm missing something. Okay. Maybe a bit less staring, maybe a bit more solving. Let's get over here. No, I definitely need to get rid of the coin advance because of the bridge being synchronized with it, as Major pointed out earlier. Nope. It's okay, at least we didn't blow anything up irreversibly before managing to do this quickly. And same idea here with the Koopa running over. Okay, good. Except now I need to do this. Just place things in a less intrusive fashion. Yeah, we'll just rotate the objects around. And yeah, POW on the right side here. Shell is going to come with me. Okay, got that. And then that's all fine. Okay, that's fine. Remarkably. Okay. Do that. This time, Goomba first, then coin. No, hang on. A little too slow. No, I just made a bit of a mistake as I was getting on Yoshi, but that's clearly the way to do it. Yeah, I mean, I was trying to do the high tongue on Yoshi. If you do it that way, he is going to grab the P first, and I just need to make sure I get rid of it and target the coin accurately. And I do have enough time to do it. I made enough mistakes that time that I can beat that timing. Okay, over here. Grab this. And we'll wait. Once again, the shell is going to be on the slightly more annoying side. Let's not accidentally tap the shell. Let's move the shell. Let's not hit the POW or the P. Okay, over here. And again. Everything's fine so far. And we have to do the P interaction pretty swiftly when we go across. Okay, there we are. Okay, doing alright. Doing alright. Okay, that's fine. We then grab the POW. And then I should be able to respawn here and grab the P from the other side. So we don't want to touch the P. I can touch the other P. Once I touch the other P, then I go through and we just repeat the same thing. Yeah. Here we are. Okay, very carefully. Through here. Yeah, we P jump. After, yeah, let me just sit down to POW first. Not there, because I won't be able to re-grab it. We then rearrange everything such that I P jump with Yoshi. Or rather, step on a P and get through the door. Let's just position this accurately. So let's not accidentally tap the P. If we do, I'm still okay, actually, because I can cycle through as much as I want. There we go. Clear. And thank you for the GG. So yeah, main thing was just inspecting the question blocks that were on the right side. That was just a thing that had stuck me for a while, but once I saw the way to actually approach that question block by paying attention to the bomb sequence, everything else fell into place pretty smoothly, I think. So, and yeah, we'll take a look at the Sean Hip original at some point. So thank you for alerting me to that, everybody who told me about that original version, and welcome everybody who had come in the meantime, including Red Knight and Nickaboos. And thank you for the GGs. So we are going to pull up a troll next, since Shieldser had one that he had been trying to show me, and which I'd heard about a few days ago, so let's pull that up as well. I do have the code, so just give me a moment. Sound appears to have blinked back into life as well, which means that my whole solution there will probably be muted, but that's okay. Now let me know if there are any continued audio issues, but I think things just decided to get back in order by themselves, unless things are sounding glitchy. Okay, so it's going to be Broke Track Mountain. I'm going to type the code in chat as well for anybody who wants to try it. Unless, of course, there has been a version change since I last jotted this down. And yeah, for the puzzle day, I really should remember to give people the codes. Broke Track Mountain version 20. Actual level does not contain broken tracks. Well, let's just do it. Okay, so Hammer is going to come out right away. Cheap Cheeps are going to zone you out from doing anything very quick at the beginning. Let's just come here. Hammer's still going to hit, okay. I feel like after the Cheap Cheeps come down, then I get on top of either the blaster or, yeah. Cheap Cheeps are green, Cheap Cheeps are going to go off screen. Skull platform looks like it might just be here to do some kind of offset. Track is open on the right, though. We may as well see what it does. Skull platform is going to raise that gate. Okay. So, is that something we can speed through? Or avoid? I feel like it is avoidable. I am standing in a position that allows me to go through. No, actually, because I would hit this block regardless, and that would land me on top of the Skull Coaster. So I think we are forced to do this for the moment. Check both pipes. And we have a coin up top. Blaster's not spawning anything right now, so that's an important thing to keep in mind, in case it is somehow limit blocked. None of the other blasters were spawning either, so... also, with the hammer out of the way down here... Yeah, it looks like the hammer just fires once at you at the beginning. Ah, this fires coins, so we know that's... well, I mean, coins are going to be fine, but... we know that this does not contain a coin. Unless I wasn't paying attention. Jumping up there, we might potentially have the top open up for us somehow, or trigger something else. Okay, so that's a spring that drives you to the left. What do we hold right going into that position? Let me just try that. Also, I wonder if we can get this going separately or come through here. Yeah, we can do that. POW block gets rid of both munchers. On-off switch theoretically gets me through that gate, so we also see a scroll break or something on the right side, so... Okay. We can get back through to the left, and maybe the bounce is still going to get me over there, I see. Let's not do that so quickly. Red Dungeon, welcome. And Red Dungeon, happy birthday, by the way. I can't remember if it was yesterday or today, but I know your birthday was sometime imminent. So, wow, Adelia Sunshine is going to come in with a party of 11. Let's make sure we give you a quick shout-out. And thank you for the follow. Yeah, Adelia Sunshine, welcome in. Thank you for bringing everybody. I hope that Mario Maker was fine on your end. So do let me know what you were running, how everything was going. We solved 2 puzzles so far on this stream, and I'm currently just working on a troll by Shieldser. Haven't really done many trolls in a while, so this is... Yeah, this is going to continue pumping me to the left side no matter what, so I do need to beat the blaster over. So yeah, everybody coming in with all of those wings, I hope you're doing okay, as well as that you had a great time over at Adelia's stream. You were trying to clear all the 5 YMM week 1, excellent. And how did you do with that? Yep, might as well get caught up now, the levels are still coming in, so 7 out of 8, okay. So which was the one that gave you trouble then? Red Dungeon, your birthday was Wednesday, okay. Well, happy belated birthday. I know you were saying you were getting the motorcycle set up for a motorcycle drive again as well. I don't know if I missed that. Oh, okay, Adelia, so you didn't clear the last one, the Bonsai, Bonsai, Bonsai. Yeah, that one... definitely, like many of the levels by Mang, teaches you a lot about momentum control in this game, and so... the more levels by Mang you play, the more practice you get in with dealing with those momentum mechanics. So this actually does spawn coins after all, I just didn't notice it previously because of where we were standing. Okay, so now that I'm in this location, I think we need to... well, if we hit the POW, the on-off switch does get activated immediately, so... and that does block me off. However... no, that definitely blocks me off. Do I have an alternative to that? Like, is there something else I can interact with in that area? Let's find out. 6 hours of streaming. Wow, that's incredible. I have sometimes run that long in the past. It's not really feasible for me to do it that often these days. I did have a 6-hour stream about 2 weeks ago, I think, but I definitely try not to do that too much. But yeah, ideally, I hope you get us an opportunity to continue with week 2 and 3, even if you can't quite clear everything. So here, I'm just looking at this, and I just don't see what else I can interact with except, like if you come out into the right side, is there something you can walk into, or? I'm also just wondering about this up here, the spring. Like, there are 2 coins that you can hit before you go further up, and then it definitely pushes you. And you got some great raids. Excellent. Good to hear it. And yeah, Red Dungeon, good luck with scouting the motorcycle route. And I do remember watching for a bit the last time you took the motorcycle on stream, and that was quite nice. Especially when it came during a time when I wasn't really traveling very much myself, and so. On-off switch is going to activate, and then the left side is still available to you, but the right side is not. As soon as the on-off switch activates, maybe we just run for it. Yeah, we just run for it. That's all there is. I wonder if we can go through the blue pipe. I feel like the implication is that we should try it. Because otherwise the spike ball does follow your position. Also, this is the bottom of a track. Notice the one up over here. Don't know if that affects anything. One-way panels all the way to the right. We would need to dash across in order to go to the door, but it looks like... Yeah, let's just dash like that. I feel like there's probably something like a semi-solid that is going to trap me if I go up 1 slot as well, so... We can test that later. Let me just test the door first. And yeah, Red Dungeon, thank you for the lurk. Always welcome to, of course. Muncher seems like it's coming down. Maybe I can hit a block to keep the Muncher up. And Kiggy429, thank you for coming by and for the follow, so... Pure lurking is very, very welcome. And yeah, Adela Sunshine, when you do run the 5YMM levels, I'll try to keep an eye out for that. Because a lot of the makers behind those levels do like to know when they are streaming, and sometimes I do try to let them know if I see somebody is on with 5YMM. But I'll definitely stay on alert for some of that. Okay, so yeah, no, let's redo everything that we had seen so far. We had gotten up to the green door just fine. And now we know how everything's going up to that point. We just need to do it. Didn't check the pipe. We should check the pipe eventually. Donut blocks should okay, no, I see. Muncher actually does get stopped there. That's fine. Now, I wonder if that key is some kind of trap. We can see Cheap Cheeps are coming down. What this level wants me to believe is that hitting the on-off switch is going to drop me down towards the key door, and then the key door will be linked. We don't know if that's actually going to turn out to be the case. I'm also just going to tap that quickly to see if anything's going on there. I see. Okay, no, it surprises you by raising you up to the hidden door on the right side. Because if you try to anticipate the door by holding up, then you enter the wrong door. That's actually kind of a nice trick. It's a very time-sensitive interaction that expects that the player is going to prepare for the door entry as quickly as possible. So, nice touch there. Check the blue pipe, nothing. Okay. And yeah, don't worry about having to go soon. I mean, I know I run at a bit of a crazy time for people in North America. but I appreciate you coming by and bringing everybody regardless. And so yeah, anybody new here, I do tend to run viewer levels on the weekends, so I will likely be running viewer levels tomorrow and a day after, also in this sort of overnight or early morning EU time slot. We do know now that the blaster on the right reveals a door. I don't know if it syncs afterwards and lets me through the bottom passage, but we'll have to figure that out. We can also try either door. Let's try the one on the left first. And... interesting. I wonder what that was trying to tell me. Yeah, okay, that does block you off. That is a no. Yeah, because it doesn't let you fall to the right side. And so unless you have some way to bust down that block, or revert to the... I believe it's the on states there, or, well, revert the on-off state to what it was before, then you would be able to get through that. However, we haven't actually tried the green door yet, so... no, yes, we have. The green door just takes you to the troll, to the oof room. So it is going to be something to do with that room that we just saw in. But we do need to change the on-off state in order to do that. We should also check this. Okay, so you don't actually fall on anything here, but notice the coin trail coming down. I feel like there is something that could potentially return you to this location. Yeah, so there is a one-way panel here, by the looks of it. Now, let me think about the on-off state here, because if I release everything, am I able to get back to the on-off switch? If I do, I can drop down through the right side down to the lower door. Is there some way to activate the on-off? Oh, okay, mushroom. That's fine. Now, the thing is, I think if we go through the green door, we get crushed, don't we? Like, no, I mean, the mushroom doesn't actually help you if you go through the key door, unless there is some kind of power-up check. So let's check this first. And that's still the oof room, okay. Because of the power-up check on the top left. But I just need to know that for sure. I don't know if having the mushroom is something that I'll actually want, so we'll do that. Also notice at that time I activated a skull platform in advance without going up, and I wonder if that is anything useful. That seems difficult to do though, so let's not dwell on that too much. Raising both of these for once. Also, I might as well check everything up here. I do know there's an upper level. Ah, it does bounce you, okay. Yeah, because I sort of tapped the one up lightly previously. I figured there would be something on the top column, but I couldn't quite tell what. On the top row, rather. Above the ceiling. Okay. One-way panel here. So what does the mushroom actually do for me? That's a very important question. Does it get me through any one-way panels? Look at this spot here, too. This seems interesting. Because maybe the implication is that with the mushroom... well, I mean, the on-off state would still block me off here. Okay, let's go here. And let's spawn through this door and see if the power-up check affects anything here. This would still be an invisible block above my head. So that's still nothing. However, no, I can drop to the left. If I drop to the left, I can take damage and survive. Yep, that's it. Yeah, that should definitely be it, I think. Okay, it's just a key located in this box. I just didn't pay attention to the box earlier. so we'll go through a door and fall to the left. Okay, any other surprises? Doesn't seem so. Let's go through. It's telling me to go left and jump up, and then there's the Master Sword. Well, it's something that sort of looks like a platforming sequence, but it's probably going to throw me off some other way. Let's just try to do it as written and scout ahead and see what the whole power-up sequence is going to be about. Oops. Okay, whoops, too slow. Sometimes you just need to shake off some of these mistakes up front. Okay, here we go. Okay, mushroom and then to the left. Sometimes I lose a lot of time to troll levels just from poor memory. Yeah, there is a POW activation as well. That Thwomp drops a coin there. And then that drops you down, okay. I feel like the implication here is that I don't jump all the way past one-way panels with Link. I take damage on top of the spike. Maybe that affects the big mushroom sequence somehow. But I didn't get a very good look at that, so we'll have to go back a few times probably. Whoops. There we go. Yeah, fortunately, execution-wise, this is fairly easy to recreate, so... Okay, mushroom over here. Everything's going to say hi to us. Okay, there we go. Now, if we get the mushroom, we actually still need to take damage afterwards in order to make our way past everything on the right side. And then it looks like there's a checkpoint there. It looks like there is the semi-solid up above the donut block. I don't particularly trust that, but I guess we have to see what happens. Yeah, thought so. Yeah, okay, so you just drop down and you let the thing push. Yeah. Pretty simple. Okay. Tap this. Go over. And then we'll do all this one more time. Nope, forgot a mushroom. Let's just restart. I admit I was momentarily distracted by the emote, which is, I think, kind of something that you'll probably be familiar with as a troll maker if you've just seen people do that before. I mean, dying to distraction is something that's going to happen. In all the least opportune moments. Okay, tap this, grab the mushroom, go left. Take damage with the Master Sword, fall towards the mushroom. Yeah, a lot of this is just punishing players who behave impulsively. Yeah, I feel like there's something that is going to happen with being dropped back into the introduction, just seeing what I was seeing with some of the off-screen play at the top of that section. I mean, this is clearly a drop location of some sort as well, that there might be some kind of recycling to checkpoint. Watching the skull in the meantime, being careful not to get pushed into that spike. I was fairly sure that the level description said something about not actually having broken tracks, and as we can tell here, that's not entirely true. And yeah, I guess we'll see where that skull platform is actually going to go. Currently just reading everything to the right. I mean, I have to try it. There's not much else I can do here, except that's going to get bumped. Okay. So the way I would do that is I would hug right. I think that's going to get me safely there. That pushes me down again. It's implying that both of those pipes are potential entrances. We'll see if that actually turns out to be the case, but I'm trying to go up top as well. As you can see, that location looks reachable if you don't get hit with the spring too soon. I'm going to try that timing a few times just to see if maybe there's something I can do here. Oh, whoops, didn't mean to go that far. So yeah, it is a claw drop on the trampoline, and if you don't go past one-way panels, I think I'm able to go back on top of the trampoline afterwards. And yeah, going back on top of the trampoline is what would allow you to enter the pipes, because staying on top of the skull platform likely gets you bumped if you're trying to enter something like the top pipe. Platforming segment over here. That's interesting. And okay, we see something that definitely looks like some kind of anti-softlock game. Or maybe not. Yeah, that's a NOR, like a NOR gate. And yeah, I guess the idea here is that we have to just take damage. Not as painful as a lot of anti-softlocks can be, so. Also, I'm thinking back to when we hit checkpoint again in terms of whether there's going to be some kind of on-off state change. Definitely with all the block destruction that was going on, there is some stuff in the layout that's going to be different in the sections that we've seen so far. If you are restarting from checkpoint, so. Nope, that's not the way. Would need to be a little swifter than that. But we can still do this as long as I don't hold right into the buzzy. Tapping the on-off switch implies that I'm aiming for the Goomba. I thought that was going to be it. I still missed. I thought it was going to move on me, but didn't quite estimate momentum very accurately coming out of that. Yeah, I like this bit with the buzzy. Like, a lot of stuff that just sort of anticipates instinctive input behaviors from the player. Like here, it's implying that something's going to happen with the 50 coin. And for that matter, the door. Okay, so that's why you don't go immediately to the right either. There's a bunch of stuff here that's going to try to bump you once you're past a certain location. Yeah, some of the timing here is actually pretty impressively worked out, I think. So yeah, it looks like nothing, and then you would still have nothing. Okay, that's fine, because it's just a semi-solid here. That's the little lip that tries to get you to do all these quick movements. Okay. So I needed to dodge that after pow hit. So this is going to be a no, but yeah, I guess if you get the mushroom, then you head over to right, you pop the note block, and then what happens? Let's see. And, oh, I see. So it's just camping here until you get hit. Except you need to find the right timing to get off the donut block to do so. Very compact anti-soft lock here, actually. Timing, however, is going to be something that takes me a little while to work out. And particularly because every now and then it is going to reset you on top of that donut block every time it respawns. And I don't know if the cycle ever synchronizes or if it's always just going to miss a little bit like that. If it does do that, then we'll just resynchronize a little. And just try to offset donut timing a little bit at a time. I don't know if it is something totally cyclical, but we may just need to sit on it until it happens. I don't think it will, though. It's consistently going, no, there is a bit of an offset, so we just sit on here until we find a good cycle, because the donut's going to offset me for me. There we go. I like that the anti-soft locks are not actually hard to execute if you are paying attention, because that's one of the reasons that usually my principle of anti-soft locks is that I'll just play them once, and then after that it's easier to just flow through the whole thing again. But these ones are not too annoying. And they're, you know, they do their job in terms of just being a little bit cute. Anyway, down we go. Okay, everything here is going to be fine. And then, no, we definitely need a Spiny to die to that synchronized POW hit, and then I jump up. Too soon. No, let's not start over. Okay. So we come down here. We then drop. Then go through here. We wait for the POW hit and then jump. Too high, it seems. Oh no, that's fine actually, because that's just the door I came in through. So Skull Platform is going to go up to the next track, and then what's going to happen after that? Might dump me back in. Might also allow me a door re-entry, actually. Okay, maybe not. Don't know what this is doing so far. I mean, this looks awfully suspicious. This also looks awfully suspicious. Yeah, this whole P here, this slope. Not much for me to do with that just yet. Let's just go over. I wonder if bopping the Goomba without claiming the boots is going to do much for me. I mean, claiming the boots... Oh, actually, let's do this. Just bop that. Okay. I feel like claiming the boot in this position is probably going to activate a P or something and trap me, maybe, but maybe not. And that's... being forced to activate this is also a potential issue, but let's... Yeah, because, no, the implication is that you activate the P-switch on the bottom right, then you jump over. And then if you're bouncing all the way over with the boots, you will definitely collect something here, and that's going to activate. Well, maybe it's involved in some kind of spawn block, but we'll have to flow through this and see. Activating the P-switch does not allow me to go through the... yes it does, if these transform into coins. They might not. We just have to see. Okay, so this is giving me some kind of clue on the right side, isn't it? It's, jump up and to the left, okay. I mean... might not actually be completable at this point, but... nothing's going to change over here. I mean, we missed the opportunity to actually go through the P-switch, so... This is camera-based, though, I think. I don't think I was within range of a Thwomp interaction or something. It's like I'm... scrolling the camera down, and that is what triggers the scroll stop afterwards. Okay, that's no. Well, let's see what happens anyway. Yeah, that's just going to be a trap. But you can actually read what's down below. We see the exit pipe down there. We see the question block, which may or may not spawn something with wings. E-switch needs to be active to drop through. And I need to drop through without the boot. But we now know that there is a P-switch activation when you just come into this position. And so if I manage to do that... Yeah, like if I triggered a scroll break and then jump out of here before there is a P interaction, then I'd be able to drop through just fine. But we'll see if that's actually the case. Because I didn't quite see the exact sequence of the bomb detonation, scroll break, and the P-switch there. And the order does matter. So let's go back down. Drop this. Come through here. POW first, and then we jump up. But yeah, definitely progressing. Okay, down we go. And up, and... yeah, so let's try this again. Okay, notice how the camera's going to scroll down partly. We want the camera to scroll down further. Snindar, welcome. There we are. And then we want to hit the coins because that allows me to ride the donut block down. Riding the donut block down is what saves me from the spike. And it's just coins there. There's nothing else that's hidden in those bricks. Snindar, there is no puzzle queue, but if you are around when we are at the end of this troll level, then I can plug one in from you. I do have a bit of a private list, but I'm able to just take levels informally depending on who's here. And I did solve a few that I wanted today already, so... yeah, if you're here after this one, we'll take a look at one for sure. I will probably only have time for maybe one puzzle, maybe two at the end of this one, so we'll try to fit you in. You might have to remind me at the end, but that's okay. If I know you're still here, we'll do it. Unless some kind of emergency makes me end the stream early. That rarely happens, but it does happen. Donut block. And yeah, that gets you within range of the Cheep Cheep. That's fine. You just need to dodge the Cheep Cheep and then fall back down to the donut block. I think you've got plenty of time to do it. Whoops. Let's not do that. And up we go. Okay. Everything here is fine. So yeah, probably just a claw activation on that Cheep Cheep here. So we'll just do that. Drop through. Of course I'm curious. And getting rid of those blocks on the top probably does create some kind of spawn block. Or release some kind of spawn block, rather. The implication here is that you're going to hit the on-off switch and then you drop down towards the donut block and the mushroom goes over. Oh, the other thing is that it seems to be telling you that you want the boot. Because otherwise, if you try to go to the right and grab the mushroom that way... yeah, maybe this is just a death trap with a donut down below, except there's a cloud block that's underneath the flag, which implies to me that maybe you can go to the flag from underneath. No. Okay. And there's a Cheep Cheep release up there as well. That's a bit of an important thing to take note of. So possibly we do need a boot in that location. I also have never checked these pipes to the left. But maybe they are both also a diversion. Okay, through we go. Now, if we eliminate these, I can't get the boot back until the P-switch expires unless I find a way to jump up. It seemed like the symbol on the other side was telling me that I want to keep the boot somehow, but I don't. Yeah, if I put the boot on top of the donut block, it is just going to get displaced back on top of this square, I think, so. I don't think there's any way I can send it down through the one tile gap. But we'll think about that, because the symbol there seems to be implying that keeping the boot is important. We'll see. Cheep Cheep's gonna come down. But then you can go over this way. And you can hit checkpoint. Okay, so I don't know about the symbol up top then. It looked like a boot outline, but wasn't completely clear on that. Okay. And then... yeah, if you get hit, you would lose the big mushroom and you would be unable to go through. SMB2 mushrooms seem to go through the bonsai. I think the implication is that you hang left. If you hang left, you grab the big mushroom, you get hit with the bonsai, then you pick up SMB2, and then you're able to pluck your way through the clouds. You're also able to take damage over here. You hit this mushroom, and then that allows you to break the top set of blocks, and you don't want to break them both. I'm guessing because there are likely invisible blocks in that layer that's in between the two, preventing you from going back up. That's one of the possibilities anyway. Also notice this change in scroll location from the checkpoint here. Yeah, I guess the cloud was just to make you think that maybe the left side was plausible, and it is not. Okay, it's not SMB2 actually, but it is... oh, because of the power-up checking, you can't actually drop the other power-ups up here. Yeah, so you need to trigger something else quickly to get through here then. I didn't see the exact order of what happened the last time I just jumped up. But it seems like you probably just grab the mushroom on the left and go. We're right here at checkpoint, so we'll have plenty of time to take a look at this properly. And, okay, no, maybe there is some kind of power-up detection then when you scroll up. Or you just bust everything from the bottom. Because even if there are invisible blocks, if you have the big mushroom from the bottom, you're able to bust them. And so they wouldn't actually block you. Okay, there we go. Semi-solid's over here, alright. Yeah, nothing over here. And no big mushroom, so yeah, you take damage. And you would revert to normal Super Mario, and then you would go down that pipe over there. Let's see what this is all about. Anti-soft lock, I'm sure. Stop. The hammer. So the hammer would probably be the one that's at the very beginning of the level. That's the only hammer I can think of. Stop. Hammer time. Okay, yeah. Alright. We'll grab as much as we can first, and then... Let's see if I can strategize this a little bit better. Just get it up high if I can, and then jump around, and then... Oh, no, maybe not. I think I just need to jump around it, to be honest. Yeah, we'll just jump into the right side column, in fact. Right side column tells me how to do it. I just need to find a better timing. Yeah, fairly gentle anti-soft lock as before. Which is nice to see. Okay, same idea here. Mushroom, rush through. Take damage once. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, we bust it once and we hit the icicle on the left. That's how we do it. Yeah, I didn't think about the collision priority there, so we'll just try to do it again. Okay, let's try this. Yeah, just need to get this sorted out. Nope. Remarkable that you have this many entities to spare with everything that's going on. Mechanisms in this level. Not having created a troll myself, I actually don't really know how easily troll levels run into budgetary issues depending on the kind of setup that you have. Of course, with a lot of things just, you know, spawning in place from blasters and blocks and so forth, that's going to reduce the load a little bit. Yeah, we don't want to go up yet. We'll just take this, and I will need to take damage on a saw blade from the grinder that is in the bottom left. And then that dumps you, and then that gives you an oof. Yeah, the implication was that you would hold up to climb the vine. Oof fish. Well, that was kind of an oofish oof. Okay, same idea though. We are progressing. Okay. So now we can go over... Spawning Divine down low doesn't really do anything for me. That just gives you that little fake out with the door. So let's see. Thwomp is going to hit that block, and that's going to do something interesting. No, it's not. Okay, we just stand in place. Implication is that you run over this second level here towards the POW. But I feel like that's going to run into issues once I run into the trampoline on the other side. But, well, let's try it. Okay, so that is safe. You can go all the way over to the spike because of the semi-solid. It seems like it is safe to run, in fact. So we'll see if that's the exit we're going for. Or if there's something else we can interact with there. Forgot to tap that, of course, so let's just take damage and respawn. Yeah, we can run into a lot of trouble sometimes just from thinking too far ahead in the level and not really paying attention to the timing that we need right now for the sequence. Okay, through here. No, forgot that. That's fine. And then you don't really have anywhere to go except through the oof fish. Okay, so we'll just dive to the seafood one more time. Okay, we'll tap this. Take damage here, as before. Yeah, I still quite like the stop hammer time thing, because it does kind of mislead you initially into thinking that it has anything at all to do with the hammers at the beginning of the level. Nice, purely verbal fake out. So yeah, here we just sit tight. It's there to make you think you should jump, I think. And then here we just run. Pretty sure it's not going to be grabbing that vine up top, but we'll consider that as an alternative if we run into any issues. But we know something was dropping down there, so... Okay, yeah, that's another fake out just to push you at the right time. And yeah, gives you a CP1 drop. Does it actually tag CP1? Let's see. It does. I don't think that is going to be any meaningful kind of state change, though, so let's just repeat from here and see if we remember what's going on. At least I didn't see any kind of state change that would matter in terms of being lowered down towards that door. So we'll pay attention to that, though, now that we know that there is a CP reset here somewhere. Okay, down we go. And up. Yeah, we'll just remember how to do some of this stuff. Scroll the camera down, and yeah. I don't think it is camera-based, actually. It's some other kind of proximity, because I'm not really lowering the camera by very much here. Nope, too slow. Yeah, too busy thinking about the positioning on the right, and I just stayed too long on the donut block when I still needed it. Yeah, in general, I think one of the things that makes this work is that there are so many things that are precisely anticipating what player inputs would be just out of habit. You know, with people anticipating certain actions without really thinking about how that would affect anything. Notice, no, I was too busy reading the note blocks on the top row to see the arrangement of semi-solids underneath them in case that mattered. Because previously I just hadn't looked at the Cheep Cheep spawning location there to see what it was. And it was not a claw drop. It was something activating the note block. Okay. On-off state switch over here. Yep. Nearly got hit on the head that time, but... do this. Cheep Cheep activates. Yeah, something does drop on top over there. Stop there. And then, that's fine. Notice that we're starting at the off state, which is going to do that to me. Yep. Yep, so there is a bit of a state switch difference there. And yeah, I didn't actually die to that the previous time because I just jumped immediately. You also try to channel the players through those habits. Yeah, that's very true. Very true. Let's hit this first. And yeah, having fun. Yeah, that's been a pretty smooth experience so far, actually. Just lots to you know, work out at a fairly gentle pace. Nothing that's, you know, particularly annoying to execute once you have figured it out. And plenty of ideas that are just kind of keeping me on my toes in terms of what kind of movements to expect from the objects that are going to move about. I think it's the timing of a lot of those surprise triggers that really make this work, as I was saying before. Okay, first time over here. I can jump up. The spring is going to spit me out onto the right side if I do. Yeah. I believe that's the way that works. Okay. Let's do this again. And yeah, the disguise of this semi-solid here works pretty well. We'll tap this and go. 20 versions of this, though. It's, I mean, I'm used to troll levels taking lots and lots of refinement for obvious reasons. But I do kind of wonder when I play late versions of something, what has changed about the experience along the way. What people have discovered. Okay. Yeah. Takes you out once, and then you just expect to cling this time. And yeah, Electrodude, like there is somebody who sent me something with like 60 versions once, I think. And yeah, it looks like that's going to be your only access to the flagpole. And there's something big that's pointing you to the vine on the left. Which is interesting. Probably that you just need to hold onto the vine and hold up when you get carted across that way. And then that gives you the flagpole, pretty much. Anyway, hot tub. Oh, look, we've turned into a hot tub stream. Let's see... Oh, whoops, I should have actually hit the on-off switch there to see what's going on. This was seen before. Yeah, it was through the other pipe of this same anti-softlock game. Except... Yep, no, nothing is too different here. And okay, yeah, let's just not get pushed too hard into the Fire Flower here. I feel like the Fire Flower is a bit of a change this time, in fact, in terms of how this is going, but maybe. Or maybe we just weren't getting bounced quite so badly last time. It's okay, let's wait for the next one here. Probably need to just do a bit of jumping to the left as well, just to keep things interesting. Okay, let's try this once again. Yeah, we'll just stay light on our feet here and try to find the appropriate cycle. Okay, yeah, that's the right idea. I just let go too soon. No, that's the right idea. I just, once again, to keep at it. Actually, let's try to bounce once just to see. Yeah, no, if I keep jumping, that's going to get into trouble. It's going to be a little bit tricky either way, actually, if I get bumped at all, so let's try to avoid that if I can. No, I actually want to let up on this slightly and stay on the conveyor belt so I can... yeah, I don't want to get bounced. I want to tap just far enough to stay in control and just let the belt drive me back to the left without running into anything. Which is going to be a difficult window to find, so let's just try to find the right kind of synchronization. It's going to be a particular synchronization that will get me in there, I think. But follow the track, yeah, I actually should, like, duck and jump over. I should have thought about that. Yeah, here I am just trying to do this some other way, but yeah, the track is going to send me over just fine. Okay. Alright, let's see. We can just take 2 more hits here cleanly. Sometime in the next 200 seconds. Nope. A little bit too quick here. And yeah, let's just try to make this work. Hopefully I do understand what to do in the flagpole screen, so we're not trapped here too often. I seem to be having quite a bit more trouble with this one than some of the previous ones, so despite clear instructions. Alright. Nope. Still not the appropriate cycle. There we go. Okay, back in the mix. Not too many things to remember going up to that point, I think. Okay, we're here. Stand still over here. And we'll just run across. Unless that vine has something to do with the vine clue that we saw earlier, but I somehow don't think that's going to be the one. Anyway. Nope, wrong door. Didn't account for the diagonal there, so. Yeah, one-way panel here. Yeah, let's redo. CP1. Although if I veered to the left, I think I actually could fall on the Spiny in a way that doesn't activate the checkpoint, given the layout of a flag here. So next time we get trapped there, we'll just veer left. And I think that should resolve the issue. Yeah, because now that I look at the Spiny clearly, that's what we should do if I actually remember that next time I'm back. Hey. And through we go. And yeah, pretty gentle route back to checkpoint 2, although we'll need to take the death here, obviously just because of the cheap situation with this on-off state. Okay. You wouldn't recommend that. Okay. I recommend what part? Oh, we're trying to go left on top of that Spiny, or? Well, I mean, I'm not going to go back there and do it multiple times on purpose. Unless I have a very good reason to. Yeah, unless the vine clue is telling me about something much earlier in the level. Let's go back here. Okay, yeah, I just needed to go back and forth there a few times. Nope. That was a mistake. And yeah, that was another sort of input anticipation that I just didn't really manage to deal with, so. Back here we go. And yeah, you are just going to fall directly, so. You wouldn't recommend going back to CP1? Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't recommend that either. Doesn't seem like it's giving me very much. And yeah, let's just remember to hug that this time. I'm seeing now for the first time the right arrow on the right side pointing to the one-way panel as well. That's telling you to hug the wall, the way that we did previously. Too busy noticing that, though. Let's actually remember to do it. Yeah, I feel like there are some visual cues that I just haven't been following throughout this, but that's how I am with not following instructions. It worked eventually, yeah. That's right. Okay, let's go back through here. And yeah, that's going to be fine. We take the death over here. CP2 spawn, and then thank you for the follow. And we'll see how to do it from here. Yeah, I don't know how much further faking out there's going to be on the flagpole screen. Let's just try to get back there to read it at least once more. Okay. Over here, it's going to project things backwards. And then we go. Yeah, there are definitely a lot of things that I have a lot of tunnel vision for when I'm playing. Whereas when I'm watching, they become obvious. Especially things that are aesthetic. Oh, same thing again. That wasn't a problem for me last time. But it's clearly become a bit of an issue. Just, once again, I was thinking too far ahead with the inputs. That's okay, it doesn't take too long to get back there. So we'll just go back. Yeah, general lesson here is just not to hold certain inputs in advance until you actually need them. Oddly enough, if it is going to be a vine cling at the very end on the flagpole screen, that's the opposite of the advice we've been receiving so far when it comes to entering doors. After CP2, the first time you can jump up, get the mush, break the blocks, then get hit by fire. Okay, okay. Yeah, it's funny because I did see that the first time I was there, and I just didn't really manage to make the mushroom priority work. Yeah, because I'm thinking that you would have needed to put that in for the clear from checkpoint anyway. And yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, I didn't see that last time because I didn't see how much time there was between the mushroom and the fire falling down, because by the time I noticed the Podoboo and mushroom, they were already stacked. So that's why I wasn't considering that previously as what you would be doing for your clear check route from CP2. Or not from CP2, from CP1, rather. And it doesn't do anything with the on-off state either. Everything just resets properly to what we need it to be. So yeah, back and forth, enter. And then we do that. Yeah. Yeah, it was the up input anticipating the vines the first time that, for some reason, I didn't run into it last time, but now it was becoming an issue. And that's the clear. Yeah, I guess that pipe at the end was probably enterable if you just stand on top of the blaster with precisely the wrong timing. So there are a few fake outs that we didn't necessarily get caught by, but there's quite a lot going on throughout the whole level, so thank you for that, Shield Sir. It looks like it's in pretty good shape right now. I don't know if it's still something that's being actively revised unless somebody finds some edge case cheese or something, but things look pretty good, so thank you for Broke Track Mountain. If Snynjar is still here, we'll do Snynjar's puzzle. Otherwise, we'll try to dial up something else quick. And we'll just do a quick check for that. I don't know if they're still here. If they're not here, we'll just do something else. Yeah, thank you for the GG. Okay, I will not be staying on too late today, but I've got a few on my list that I can dial up. And yeah, thanks again, Shield Sir, for dropping by for that. It's easier to take care of the trolls on something like a separate puzzle day, even though I'm normally doing things like one screens here. Alright, this is another one that I've had my list on for some time. This is an old one, I think, or a revision of an old one from early in the game. And yeah, Shield Sir, I guess I've been pulling you away from work for long enough. Okay, so this is from Death Despise, who, of course, was responsible for the Knight Rider music level in 5YMM this week, and has been making music levels for quite a while now, but who had an early puzzle series in the first few months of the game that I had meant to look at some point. And this is like, I think, the revision or hard mode or something of one of those puzzles in that original concept. So it is sort of an item order puzzle. I don't know exactly how it's going to go, but let's take a look. And thank you for the follow. So yeah, it looks like there's going to be coin up here, which does what for me? Okay, flower feather. I hope that's not just a hint or something that gives away the whole thing, but we'll just potentially keep that in mind, and just inspect the rooms. And hey, a dark sword and shield, welcome. So this is the star room, and you clearly need something too. Probably. Yeah, you need to raise Despani up to that location in order to get it all the way across. And then that would release the star and have that come down. Star, you would probably need last to run through the thwomps, and then they wouldn't get you through the Muncher collisions, though, unless you have the Shelmet on. You need a Shelmet on at that point, and then you would also fly all the way up. So yeah, you get the star last. And I think what happens is, in order to get the star in the star room, you would need some kind of interaction that allows you to, for example, whip the Spiny with the cape, and then bump it up with the Shelmet so you can trap it in that position until the shell gets bounced, and then the shell comes all the way across. And that goes just fine. So let's take a look at what's going on with the cape room. Cape room, yeah, you need to take care of the shells on the right side, I think. Well, I mean, the way you do that is you would need some kind of object there to probably either let one cross or drop on them somehow. We'll think about that. Flower room is going to be a POW and a P-switch. P-switch is going to stop the conveyor belt, so we don't want that until we have hit the POWs. Well, you need to hit the POW first regardless. Flower comes down, and then you can hit the P-switch. Let me see if the P-switch will do anything useful for me in one of the other rooms. Can't really tell with that one. Okay, this one. On-off switch can be hit from the side using a shell if you pick one up. You can probably get multiples once you activate the bomb because of that spawner, such that if you wear one as a helmet, you can have another one as a shell you can use. So, oh wait, let's take one more look at this to see if anything would be affected by a P-switch, for instance. But yeah, flower is likely to be first priority. Okay, no, and then you hit the P-switch after the POWs, and then that just releases the flower straight up, right? Except you would need the POWs to activate a second time to drop the coins. Once you drop the coins, then the flower is able to come down. Okay, now that you have the flower, we'll keep in mind that maybe the P-switch is useful for one of the other rooms, but otherwise we'll try to do something with the bombs, probably. Unless we need to tap the shells in the cape room first. Because in this room, if you have the cape, then you're able to fly up, and that gets you nothing. Except the cape is allowed to hit the on-off switch, and then that would just bust this room open. So cape is going to be second. We release that, and because this is 2 blocks high, it is going to walk directly across. We tap this, we grab the cape, and then I don't think I can actually get enough speed to fly, but yes we can, and that's a 1-up. Okay, nice. Except we're going to miss all 3, so much for that. Buzzy's going to be next. Let's see what we can do up here. This allows me to fly. Oh, it allows me to grab the flower once I come around to the other side. Then we can grab the cape back in the cape room, because I think I will need it at the end. Cape feather is available on both sides, in fact, so that's fine. Ding dong, no. Flower is trapped on either side. What we can do is probably... Well, let me think about this. Whether that is somehow accessible. Let's go back here. Let's see if we can whip the flower. Yeah, that's going to be it. Because then that should catch on the claw. It's not going to catch on the claw. Okay. That's kind of unfortunate. Really felt like it should have. Maybe... No, we just need to swing the claw a bit, I think. Yeah. Hence where the arrow was pointing. Once we have the flower, then we can hit the Koopa, and that's going to drop the blaster. Dropping the blaster does what? Okay, it's only 2 tiles high, so that just gets me back across. And yeah, eventually we will need access to getting rid of the bomb. That's going to be all there is to it. And yeah, because of the donut block, I will not be able to get up to this location to release in advance, but that's fine. We don't need to. We're coming out here with exactly what we need for the room over here, which, yeah, it's just going to be a bump. And then we would whip this, and then we bump it all the way over. And then we just run through the thwomps and fly. It feels like I could go higher if I really wanted, but I guess we'll miss whatever's up there. Yeah, it looks like, I mean, I didn't get a good look at that, but maybe that does spoil the intended order. But we're going to have a second segment here, which is going to be Red Yoshi, Pow, Green Yoshi, Helmet. Let's, Spiny Helmet, rather. Let's take a look. And of course, I'm just starting in the same initial state. We can bounce over this, but then getting over to the thwomps is not going to do anything for me without... well, without something like a star, probably, although... I wonder about all those blocks. Yeah, you do need Spiny Hat in order to break through all of this. As well as some way to destroy all the thwomps, probably the POWs, in fact. POWs, yeah, everything's grounded there, you fired a POW. Spiny Hat plus POW is going to be the way you do that. So let's take a look at the POW room here. Okay, so you released a bomb. Bomb gets caught in the claw. That's going to release everything to lower the Munchers. Muncher goes down. POW goes up on the seesaw. But then how do you actually grab that afterwards? You do need Spiny Hat to come through here. Yeah, no, it's a Yoshi interaction. POW goes up in the seesaw. Green Yoshi catches this. So Green Yoshi will be a prerequisite to this room. Green Yoshi grabs the blue spike top. That's what launches the bomb. Red Yoshi, however, needs to fire at the bomb. Which is interesting, because that means that you would need Green Yoshi to carry the Red Yoshi egg into this room. Yeah, that's how to do it. Green Yoshi carries Red Yoshi into that room. So let's take a look at how Yoshi is going to go. This implies that you're not expected to have the Spiny Hat yet, so this will likely be first. Thwomp is going to be a side thwomp. Thwomp can be bumped. And then... Thwomp can then be bumped further. Likely, let's... I want to see if I can bump the Thwomp in such a way that it is still backing up. Because the idea would be that I would want the Thwomp to go over, and then I would be able to go to the right side. However, no, that's fine, actually. That's fine. I just need to Shelmet, and then I need the Thwomp here in order to create a platform for me to build speed on. So we'll just go back here. And then we'll bump. We'll push this, and then we'll take damage in order to go around. Nope, not like that. No, I do need to bump it up that extra spot, as I'd done previously. So, let's see here. Yoshi, yeah, once again. Then we'll go up this way. That's going to crush. That's going to give me Yoshi, and that will permanently give me Yoshi by destroying that block. So that's solved. Yeah, at this point you can fly. I don't think I need the... what is it? The Buzzy helmet. However, looks like I do need perhaps a red Yoshi egg in order to ignite the bomb. So let's go back and see if red Yoshi is accessible yet. I thought I needed a Spiny for that, but I may be wrong because I didn't think about green Yoshi interactions here. I think I still do. No, I need a POW, actually. And I thought the POW required a Spiny hat. It should. So, yeah, damage gate here. Don't know what that will be all about, but it looks like I'll probably just need to lower a shell somewhere so Yoshi can grab a shell, in fact. No, not a shell, but fire from something like the Fire Flower? Yeah, because with the Fire Flower in tow, also we can use Yoshi to grab the star. That's important because the star actually gets me through the thwomps in this zone here. But you can't use the star until you're past here. You have to swallow the star, spit it across, so you don't die to the wigglers. However, you do still need a Spiny hat on the other side in order to get through the question blocks, so we won't do that yet, but we will eventually grab the star rather than thinking about the POW for the thwomps, I think, just given their spacing. So let's go through here once again. And we can always revert to the cape afterwards. But in the meantime, that's fine. There we go. And we can come back here, and then I go back to the cape, probably. And then grab this next, and when we go through the wigglers first. And then, yeah, that's fine. We don't need a star for anything else. We can just cut through that very cleanly. And then at this point... let's think about this. Thank you for the follow. I can just use the cape to whip this and then kill it. And then we can swallow the red shell. Fox Story, I will be taking viewer levels tomorrow and the day after. I will not be doing it today. Because we will not have time for much more after this, and on the puzzle days I don't really tend to run the queue bot. But if you come back tomorrow or the day after, we will have the full queue and the full experience in the same time slot, probably. Queue will probably close by this time of day, though, so you'd want to get here earlier. Probably. Sometimes if I have extra time, I do reopen to people who get here late, but I can't always guarantee that. But yeah, hope to see you around. Okay, so over here, we can just spit out Red Yoshi, and then change places. Red Yoshi is going to then take out the bomb, and then Green Yoshi can grab a POW. Green Yoshi grabs a POW, and I'm guessing we need the POW for this gate over here, because that's the final one in the sequence. Yeah, because we need something to drop down here, probably something tucked above the bomb, in order to fly all the way over and bust all this down to get to the gate. Let's jump up just to see what's going on. Yeah, Blaster and P-Switch. Well, let me think about this, because POW is going to drop all of these coins. If it drops these coins, that means that I will be able to ignite the bomb on that side, which means I actually need Fire Flower first. Because then the bomb destroys this, then to come back in, and then I use the cape to get over. So let's switch to Fire Flower. Okay. Yeah, because I absolutely need that coin drop, or I will be blocked. So, and that's fine. We just need to reclaim the POW in the 70 seconds that I have remaining. And everything's going to be quick here. Let's make sure we don't get hit with the feather. That's fine. Now that I have a second POW, we don't actually need a second POW at this point, I think. We just hit this. And then I switch back to the feather. And then we see if there are any surprises up top. Oh, no, the, okay, I didn't realize that those two blocks up there would contain vines, and that this would therefore stay in place. So yeah, the second time we come through here, we have Yoshi swallow a feather instead. Because we don't actually need POW anymore for anything, we just need to switch between the Fire Flower and the feather. Okay, let's go here. Let's swallow the feather before it's too late. Come on, feather. Or we just respawn through here. Gotta do this rather quickly, 18 seconds. Yep. Okay, 8 seconds. Can we do it? Yes, we can. Didn't quite grab all the top coins cleanly, but that's okay. We'll take it a win. And thank you for the GG. Okay, we'll only have time for probably one more short one now. So yeah, earlier I was checking to see if Snidinjar, if they were here, was requesting something, but I think they left. So we'll just finish out with something else that I had in the backlog. And yeah, this will likely be the last one I can stay to do today. I should remember to get people the codes as well, in case you want to try anything yourself. Let me punch this one in chat. So yeah, we'll finish with something by Grikowski here. A bit of an older one, but we've played most, if not all, of everything that he has made since. So this is going to be a 3D world level, Reflections. Nothing to do with a bit of reflection, not to spoil anything, in the 5YMM level that Grikowski had up here in week 1. This is something completely different, where the key is the box and the box is the key. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, this is from May of last year. So one of the older ones on the list, comparatively, reached the goal after breaking at least one crate. I didn't know that was the crate to clear condition, actually, that it was based on breaking it. Or that it could be based on breaking it. I guess it's the same as any kind of a kill or activation condition. But you so rarely see it. Anyway, 3 1-ups for Endless. Not that we need them. And you've got a water level that's about halfway. Okay, so we need to break the crate. The crate is currently under the P. And in order to get that, we need to... Well, I mean, you can also break the crate using the POW if you want, but you might need the crate for something else. Currently, is the on-off switch accessible? Yes, it is. And you have a second crate on the right side. It feels like the clear condition for breaking one crate might be something that we can do without... Oh, you know what? Because it's set to the clear condition, I think that actually is going to affect the reset logic. I keep forgetting sometimes that putting a clear condition on something is going to affect the respawn rules. And that might be what's going on here. Also, the fact that we have killed the POW in the top corner by taking this right away. We don't want to activate the on-off switch until we have had a way to get rid of the POW from that side. We can do that, I think. We would maybe just be a bit short of the height required to grab that. But in that case, we should restart and think about this. Because currently we don't have any kind of reset access just yet. In fact, it feels like the key progression here, if the key doors are matched, like that the point of the key door is in fact to get you some kind of reset ability. And that's... the actual exit is going to be out that door that we see. That we might need to stack 2 crates under. I feel like that's the implication. Yeah, I can't seem to reach that at the moment. Which is something I'll have to think about. Currently, yeah, the only P-switch that we have available is the one on the right as well. Seems like we would need to break everything on the right using the POW, and so the on-off switch is going to kill the POW, as we discovered before. And so we need to figure out some other way to do that, either that or have some way to access a reset. Now, can I grab the crate without activating the on-off switch? That's the current question, because activating the on-off switch kills the POW. Yeah, maybe there is some particular interaction that allows me to go up and grab it, but I think the idea is that I would be breaking the POW. Now, the thing is, what's holding the key? That's something I don't know. If it's possible that it's the crate that's holding the key, then we have a reset. And yeah, having the reset available allows me then to respawn the POW. But you'll notice that it doesn't respawn the crate. So we'll need to rethink the order this way. Because... yeah, if I tap this, then that gets killed again, but then I can reset. But then we don't have crate access anymore. So the idea should be... I mean, in order to access this POW over here, I do need a crate. And it's likely going to be the first crate that we pick up, because otherwise... yeah, P doesn't get access until we use the POW. And this over here doesn't become available until we have it to P. And moreover, that the block will float up into that slot with the cloud and probably become unobtainable if we don't have the P-switch accessible some other way. So we at least know about the key, and that's important because some final interaction with the reset door will probably be relevant to me somehow. So what I can do, however, is... well, I can't reset through here with the crate because I would need to break the crate in order to get the key, so that's not going to be it. Is there something else I can do with the crate? Because right now... That's one thing that I'm uncertain of. And slam the crate doesn't do anything over here. A single crate also isn't going to get you through here. You do eventually need 2 of something. And so maybe I can't smash the crate yet. Yeah, because I would need 2 objects, and having 2 objects in tow, I would then do what? I wonder, too, if I smash it this way, whether... Yeah, so, no, this is interesting, because hitting the on-off switch to delete the crate does not count as breaking the crate for the purposes of the clear condition. Because the clear condition has not been activated, I should be able to reobtain the crate a second time and then take it through the door. Yes, exactly. So that's the whole key to the puzzle, is understanding the way that the on-off switch does not activate the clear condition, and not activating the clear condition affects the respawn rule. So that's the puzzle. That's the central thing you have to understand. So next thing is we need to figure out how to do this whole bit with the P-switch. And I think the way to do it is to put a crate under the P-switch so I can obtain it from up top. We don't want to do that close. But that's okay. If we activate the POW, we're still in decent shape to continue. What we want to do is we want to activate the POW just far enough that it does not activate the P-switch. I need to figure out where that's going to... no, that's fine. We can just take advantage of the fact that the bricks can't respawn in 3D World. And then we tuck this guy down here to raise the P-switch. And then we still have access to both those things. And then we hit the P this way, grab this, and then now we have 2 crates. However, we need the crates to be available up top, and I need to do that without destroying either of them. So now the next question is going to be how to get crates up here. One way to do it is to do like a crate POW crate stack, which would then allow me to jump up top and start tucking some items aside on the top corner. We also have to remember that eventually we need to break that other crate as well, but we can do that just fine, I think. We'll just grab the POW and take it down first, and then everything should be okay. Yeah, because what's going to happen is if I drop the POW is going to sink. But then I can take this, and we just need 2 objects to stand on after breaking the other crate. So the idea should be to put the key crates at the bottom of the stack, because it's the one that we will want last, I guess. And we can throw it on top and break it, as long as we have some way to get the last one over. Yeah, because right now the issue is, yeah, because if the final crate gets slotted onto the right side, we can ground pound it and destroy it for the key. Once we have the other 2 objects available, which is going to be a bit of a stacking problem. Let's just try to handle that somehow first. Yeah, I just want to stack this stuff safely. Also notice this little interaction here with the 2 crates. I think if we bump them from below, we should be able to raise them above water level and have the bottom one on that stack. Good. Hitting the on-off switch at this point, you'll notice, is going to break... no, it's going to delete a crate. It's not going to break it. Currently, the crate on top is the one with the key, if I remember correctly, so we're actually going to do it this way. I stack a POW on top. we still need to break that thing somehow, so... This is fine, I think, because... Yeah, we need 2 slots open, which means I need to hit the on-off switch. I want 1 crate on the right side. The crate on the right side is going to be the one that... Yeah, and then I stack the other 2 objects on top of it. But the thing is, can I actually get all 3 off? That's the question. Right now, I think I need to do it this way. This one goes on bottom. We can stack something on top because once we activate the on-off switch, I'll be able to access it from the side. But then the question remains, how do we grab the third and last one? And that's going to be a little bit tricky, because if we drop this guy, then we... after we activate the on-off switch, might be able to jump up and take the other one. Oh, also, no, we can... Once we activate the on-off switch, I'm able to go through this door, and then I can back up through this door back to this room. And when I back up into this room, if we have at that point not broken the crate, it's going to respawn for me. And so I think I'm fine if I just take the POW. I probably shouldn't have put the crate down there then. Because at this point, if I hit the on-off switch, then I will have access to these 2 objects. And... yeah, I don't want those 2. Let's think about this. If I have 2 objects available, that's fine. The issue is... So yeah, no, let's reset this by taking this crate through the reset door. Because if we do so, we also get the P-switch available. And the P-switch gives me an extra stacking element. Which is really important here. Because having the P-switch as an extra stacking element does allow me to cart 1 additional object over. And actually allows me to create a 4 stack that gets me up to the door. But I don't really want a 4 stack, do I? Let's... Well, let's try to... Oh, no, I took the wrong crate. I took the wrong crate. I misread the order. That's okay, let's just start over. Okay, we approximately understand the idea, though. It's going to work like this. We start by hitting the on-off switch. We then hit the on-off switch again to delete that crate for the key. We then respawn to grab the crate from up top. Once we do the same thing. We then go through here in order to grab the POW. And yeah, at this point the whole crate is still pretty obtainable. So if we hit the P-switch, that's not a big deal. We can actually just grab that just fine. And the item progression is just going to continue. Yeah, I feel like the final thing is going to be we go through the top door without having activated a clear condition. And then we come back and then we find some way to blow up the crate at the very end. But first of all, we need to reset here in order to put the crate on the left side back in position. Whoops, not like that. Not like that at all. And once we grab that crate, everything else is going to follow pretty nicely. We just need to keep track which crate is which. So we don't delete one
other than what we want. Also, getting through doors while holding an object in underwater is always a little bit finicky, but clearly doable, so. Okay, so now we have access to all 4 objects. And we need to think about the logic of how we do this. We need to stack all 4 in order to go through the door in the on state, but at that point it will not have broken the crate, so that's not going to be it. However, if we have a 4 object stack, and then we hit the on-off switch, and we delete one object, that still allows me to have 3 objects available at the top. So, unfortunately, we know that using these blocks to destroy a crate doesn't destroy the crate. But that's fine, because if the bottom crate is trapped, we go through a door, we pop out a door, no, and then we are stuck because nothing else respawns. Let's drop this first of all, and let's just fish out the P-switch. Because we will need this to happen anyway. Yeah, let's just let this push. Whoops. Huh. Thought this was supposed to work. Let's... Yeah. A little bit weird once again. Yeah, if we place this sort of a half tile down, or... Yeah, the P-switch actually does kind of go up. There we go. It's a little bit weird, but it does work. Then we can do a multiple object stack. If we grab the top crate. The top crate will need to break somehow, and I don't know how to do it yet. But I think as long as we get, like... If we can get 3 objects up top and create a 2-object stack as we hit the on-off switch, one way I can do it is by, yeah, just having 2 objects available, hit the on-off. I do want the crate on the, yeah, I want to do a 3-high stack with the original crate on the right side. And then I hit the on-off switch, and then we're fine. Because we have access to everything else afterwards. I think I see it. I think I see it. We do this. This contains the key. Or did contain the key. Actually, it doesn't matter at this point which crate we break. It does matter at this point which crate we respawn. Because since it's tied to the clear condition, if we break a crate, it does not respawn. So yeah, the crate order doesn't actually matter because the key is no longer in play. So we drop the POW like this. We can then drop the P like this. We'll eventually reverse that order and have a POW on top of P, but the general idea is that we're going to come up here, tap that, we move the POW, we move the P. Let's not activate the P. We move that. We slam this. Oh, wait. Forgot that this doesn't actually give you enough room for ground pound. Okay, that's a slight hindrance. I thought that would be safe. We actually just needed to destroy the other crate, straight up. By ground pounding it, like, while it was on water. This is okay, this is recoverable, because I can just toggle the on-off switch again without destroying anything. Whoops. Yeah, let's do POW first. Because the stacking will be a little bit easier to work with without accidentally hitting something. No, that's fine. We just smash this. And then we do the same thing. And that's okay, because we will be through. Except we need a P activation. I didn't realize that. That's okay. We just changed the item order by having the P at the bottom. That's all there is to it. And that gives you... Oh, okay, that still gives you the win. But you know what? We're going to do it the top side by taking the P through. It's a very small adjustment. And it's going to save my clear time. Somewhat. I mean, not going for a record or anything, but, you know, we'll just walk through this cleanly. No, hang on. That's not how to do it. Let's restart. We don't want to dislodge that from its position at all. To take advantage of the fact that we can grab the key without activating the condition. Okay. Reset. Grab the crate again. And... yeah, that's fine. Reset. Up through here we go. And then we reset. I mean, we can wait for the switch to expire first. Doesn't particularly matter. Dislodge the P. Grab the P. Through here we go. Yeah, once we grab that, we will eventually need to respawn everything anyway, so let's just go through. Now we grab everything. And yeah, that allows me to go up top. Probably didn't need to move this down, in fact. But that's okay. We now move the P to the top corner first, so we can stomp on it at the very end. Before we go through the door. Let's... I like how this level has that last puzzle fake out at the end without preventing you from getting to clear if you want. We're still going for the bonus objective anyway, but at least a bonus objective feels like a bonus rather than a bit of a surprise that, you know, does force you to do everything over in a way that you couldn't have anticipated. So yeah, doing that here, stacking that here, break that, come through here, we restack, then we hit the P, and then we go through. Okay, that does it. P door over here. And that is top of the flag. There we go. Well, okay, not quite top of the flag, at the 4,000 point tier of the flag. So yeah, nowhere near the record, of course, but that's why we don't go for puzzle records against somebody like Cyphus, who optimizes everything. Okay, that's going to be all we have time for today. We will, of course, be back for fewer levels tomorrow and the day after. And then, after that, we will be continuing with 5YMM probably on the Monday night or Tuesday morning stream, as we've been doing every single week. And if there are any changes or other surprises, we'll just announce that in advance onto Discord. But for now, we will send you on to somebody else, likely somebody else running Mario Maker right now. And I'll scan around for that to see who is up and running at this time of the day. And we'll drop by and say hello.
In the meantime, though, thank you so much for joining me today. Thanks for watching, and have a good weekend wherever you are, and hope to see you back for View with Levels soon enough. Enjoy your day, enjoy the levels, fare thee well.